umpires working this ball game. Tom Hallion calls the balls and strikes. Jim Quick at first, Steve Ripley at second, and Ron Barnes at third. And the Giants have taken the field for Game 3 of this 4-game series. The two teams have split the first two.
And the defense for the San Francisco Giants. This is what Jim Fregosi has to say about Barry Bonds. He plays shallow and deep at the same time. That is the ultimate compliment. Offense, defense, on his road to winning his 3rd MVP title in the last 4 years. Darren Lewis in center field. Dave Martinez will be the right fielder. Matt Williams at third base. Royce Clayton at shortstop. Robbie Thompson came off the disabled list on Thursday. He'll be at second base. Will Clark at first base. And one of the unsung heroes on the Giants team, along with Royce Clayton, is Kurt Manwaring. Dave Burba on the mound. He began the 1992 season in the starting rotation. Not so this year, and even though he is starting today, Dusty Baker telling us last night that he'll be anxious to get Burba back in the bullpen, because when he does that, that means that Bud Black will be healthy.
And Trevor Wilson will return to the rotation, they hope, sometime in August. Bud Black could be back by the end of this coming week. It's our first trip to San Francisco this year, and Candlestick looks a bit different. They have new dimensions, 335 to left, 328 down the right field line, 400 to straightaway center. The power alley's 365. It's been a good hitter's ballpark, obviously, this year as the home of the best hitting team in baseball. And I think the best thing that they've done here are those bleacher seats out in left field, where the public gets a up-close glimpse of San Francisco's new hero, Barry Bonds. They put in 1,800 bleacher seats to give this ballpark much more of a baseball park feel.
Yeah, the bleachers are different, but the elements are same here at Candlestick. A bright sunshine, windy conditions, and that's one of the big reasons that the Giants had the advantage over visiting ball clubs, because the Giants are used to the conditions and visitors aren't. Nothing is routine in this ballpark.
Giants 35-14 at home this year. Lenny Dykstra leads off, flirting with the 300 mark after a very slow start. He has 12 homers and 32 knocked in. First pitch from Dave Burba is a called strike, and we're underway at Candlestick. Dykstra was talking about the possibility of winning the batting title this year back in spring training, but got off to a very slow start. Around 220 after a month. He's picked it up to the point where he's flirting with 300, and he's also on base regularly. With 80 walks, he is second in the league behind his teammate John Kruk, who was 82. The 27-year-old Burba quickly ahead 0-2. Ball one, and it got by Kurt Manwaring.
Talking to pitching coach Dick Pohl of the San Francisco Giants, a guy who has done a whale of a job with this Giants pitching staff, and he said Dave Burba's very simple. If he's staying ahead early in the ball game, he'll be effective. When he falls behind, and that is usually the case with most pitchers, when he falls behind, he gets hurt, and hurt badly.
He's even with Dykstra now, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Because of the .299 average and the 80 walks, Dykstra is 5th in the league in on-base percentage. Last line foul. Manager Jim Fregosi of the Phillies yesterday told us he thinks that's the most underrated statistic in baseball, on-base percentage. And he has several guys who do an excellent job of getting on base regularly.
So do the Giants, as a matter of fact. The Phillies right behind the Giants in on-base percentage collectively this year.
Fastball. He checked his swing. Manwaring thought it was strike 3 anyway, but the home plate umpire Tom Hallion did not agree.
Burba throws a split-finger fastball and a changeup. Manwaring wanted it, and you can't blame him. That ball's a strike.
It should be. They talked earlier in the year about raising the strike zone, but I haven't seen any evidence.
No. I have seen the strike zone widened a bit.
Line to right and a base hit. Dykstra does what he does so often, gets on base to start the ball game.
So Dave Burba forced to come in with a fastball after the 2-2 pitch missed, and Dykstra aboard again. Dykstra with 89 runs scored. He is 11 ahead of the second place player, and that's Barry Bonds.
Dykstra at first with nobody out for Mariano Duncan. Playing second base today as Mickey Morandini has the day game after a night game off. Ball one low. Duncan, one of the 4 players Jim Fregosi has tried as the starting shortstop this year. Juan Bell already let go after he had problems in the field, was picked up by Milwaukee. Duncan and Tim Batiste still with the team, but they had their chances to start at short and didn't get the job done as well as the Phillies had hoped. And now it's Kevin Stocker, who is not in the lineup. The 23-year-old rookie turned his ankle on Tuesday night in Los Angeles, and Fregosi hopes he'll be back in another 3 or 4 days. When he does return, he'll go right back in as the Phillies starting shortstop.
Yeah, that's the one glaring weakness for the Phillies before Stocker's arrival. The Phillies with 29 errors at shortstop this year, and that leads the majors.
Two balls and a strike on Duncan. Dykstra back to first. Lenny with 25 stolen bases, and he's only been thrown out 4 times. He is tied for 6th in the National League in steals. Now to play and right.
One unusual thing about the Philadelphia Phillies, they are a good base running team, but they are not an aggressive base running team as far as the manager relaying signs to the runners. Jim Fregosi's not a guy who likes to hit and run. He doesn't send the runner with the count 3-1 or 2-0. He thinks those are offensive situations where the hitter should choose his pitch. He said, I will send them 3-2. Of course, with 2 outs, you're going to send them anyway, but less than 2 outs. So don't look for Dykstra to run here, but if the pitch is a ball, you can look for him to take off.
In on the hands and fouled straight back out of play. Duncan back in action after spending some time at the start of this month on the disabled list. He was out for 15 days with a strained right hamstring. Dykstra again back to first.
Lee Thomas, the general manager of the Phillies, has done a marvelous job picking up budget-minded free agents, and Duncan's one of them. Pete Incaviglia another. Jim Eisenreich added to their bench strength.
Up the middle, base hit. Just out of the reach of Robbie Thompson. Dykstra rounded second, but elected to hold as Darren Lewis got to it very quickly. So back-to-back singles by Dykstra and Duncan to open the ball game.
Dykstra missed second. That's why he didn't attempt to go to third. The ball was hit sharply up the middle, but I think Lenny looking at center fielder Darren Lewis, and he missed second base. Check this out. Dykstra looking at Lewis, looking, whoop. Got to go back and touch the bag, and it's too late to run on Lewis.
And with nobody out, not worth the gamble anyway. With the meat of the order coming up, Ricky Jordan, the batter. John Kruk has the day off. Jordan, another one of the excellent bench players at 301, 4 homers, 9 knocked in. One of the reasons that Jordan has only 9 runs batted in, he's hit only 130 this year with runners in scoring position. He's 3 for 23.
Only 83 at bats, but a lot of people feel that Ricky Jordan could be a a regular first baseman on any other club. Here with the Phillies behind John Kruk.
Berba got the high fastball by him. 0-2 on Ricky Jordan. There's John Kruk, who slept in the Phillies clubhouse after the game last night. He and Larry Anderson and Tommy Green decided not to make the trip back to the hotel with a short turnaround time. The game ended about 11:30 local time last night, and it's a noon start.
Their wake-up call today was the clubhouse coffee pot. Out of play and right. Great to see so many folks at Candlestick Park. Last year, so much uncertainty about whether or not this franchise was going to move to the Tampa St. Pete area. But they stayed. They've made improvements on the field and to the ballpark. And on Monday, when the Dodgers come to town, the Giants will surpass their home attendance of all of last year. Giants over 500,000 ahead of last year.
A lot of room and foul ground here. Will Clark over the rail. Dykstra is tagging. Will couldn't get it. Will ran into the retaining wall. Last night he ran into Mike Jackson.
That was in the 14th inning, allowing the Phillies to score an unearned run. Will Clark runs out of room. From an out to a souvenir.
Still 0-2 on Ricky Jordan. 2 men on and nobody out. Just underway in the top of the first here in San Francisco. Again out of play and right. Pat O'Brien told you about Mike Jackson's collision with Clark in the 14th inning last night. Jackson injured his right knee while attempting to cover first base. This morning he had a series of tests done at the Palo Alto Medical Center, including x-rays, a CAT scan, and an MRI. The test revealed a moderate contusion to Jackson's right knee, but no fracture. There is considerable swelling. And Jackson has been placed on the 15-day disabled list effective today. The club will announce Jackson's replacement on the Giants roster following today's game. As they visited the mound, we'll check scores of other action. Boston going for its 9th straight win, still with a 5-3 lead in the top of the 8th. Ricky Henderson left that game with back spasms. New York leads California 1-0, and Kansas City and Detroit are tied at 2. New York run on Danny Tartable's RBI single. Jordan battling Berba, still 0-2.
Kurt Manwaring, before that foul ball, went out to the mound, and usually if a catcher and a pitcher call one of the middle infielders in, it's to change the signs. Perhaps a hitter is picking up location, or perhaps the guy on second base is giving him the pitches.
Softly up the middle, caught by Thompson, double play, and nearly a chance for 3. He turned and looked toward first, and very nearly had a play at Duncan. Had Duncan been another step or 2 away from first base, they might have tried for the triple play.
Berba tried to go away, and now he comes inside to Ricky Jordan, and Lenny Dykstra is frozen at second base. Nothing a runner at second can do about that. But you're right, Sean. Had Thompson thrown to first base, he has a shot at Duncan. You can't tell if you're looking right in the baseline how far that runner is off, but from our view, there was clearly a shot at Duncan at first for the triple play.
Now it's 2 outs and a runner at first for Dave Hollins, the cleanup hitter. Berba starts him with a strike. Hollins hitting .266 with 10 homers and 56 runs batted in. He's a switch hitter. He's fared better from the right side of the plate this year. He's hitting only .242 left-handed. Hollins on the comeback trail from a fractured bone in his hand that required surgery. You're looking at the incision on his right hand. He had that surgery on June 15th and missed only 15 games. It's hurt his power. He's had only 1 home run since returning from the disabled list.
And since that's his throwing hand, you would think that he would have problems with his accuracy at first base, throwing from third to first, and that has been a problem, predictable.
In the dirt, it gets by Manwaring and rolls all the way into the San Francisco dugout.
I think Kurt Manwaring, number one, Duncan will have to retreat to second base. It's only one base from the pitcher's mound, 2 from the field, 1 from the mound. I think Kurt Manwaring may have crossed himself up. There are a lot of times that, you play so many games, you put down so many fingers, but watch, nope, that ball was in the dirt and jettisoned over near the Giants' dugout. But you call for so many pitches over the course of a season, sometimes you have to look down there to see how many fingers you're putting down.
I'm sure a man of your high intellectual capacity never had that problem.
I did.
Well, certainly Manwaring doesn't, as a product of coastal Carolina. The Chanticleers, an excellent baseball program they've had over the years. Probably smart on Manwaring's part that he didn't sprint after it. He realized it would roll into the dugout and be only one base. Had he really run after it and fielded it before it went in the dugout, Duncan has an excellent chance to go to third on that play. He's at second with 2 outs. We're in the first, no score. 3 balls and a strike on Hollins. Darren Dalton is on deck. And that's ball 4 in the dirt. First walk issued by Burba. Now bring up the starting all-star catcher for the National League, Darren Dalton. Hitting .252 with 17 homers. That's 10th in the National League. And he's tied with Andres Galarraga of Colorado for second in the league in runs batted in with 70. Barry Bonds leads the circuit with 77. And those are the numbers of which we were speaking. Dalton takes a fastball for a strike.
Everybody talks about Darren Dalton, about how nice, what a nice man he is, and that is certainly true. You talked about Kruk and Anderson and Green spending the night in the clubhouse. Dalton went back to the hotel with his high school coach last night, Mike West, who was his high school coach. Ark City, Kansas, about an hour south of Wichita, near the Oklahoma border. That's where Darren grew up. I mean, how many major leaguers, though, with in the day of big salaries, how many guys remember their high school coaches?
Not enough.
Not
certainly.
enough.
The 0-2 in on the hands and fouled away. I was sure if they had a bite to eat. Darren picked up the tab. He signed an $18.5 million contract extension to cover 4 years earlier this season, making him the highest paid catcher in the game today. No score. The Phillies batting in the first.
After last night's game, it was breakfast.
It was morning by the time they got back to the hotel. Walton chased a bad ball for strike 3. Manwaring down to first to complete the strikeout. 2 hits and a walk, but no runs for Philadelphia in the top of the first.
He packs heavy. She packs light. She wears silk. He wears wool. He's comfortable at 68 degrees. She prefers 72. Good thing they own a Buick Park Avenue with available dual-zone climate control. 72 for her, 68 for him. Too bad everything isn't as accommodating as Park Avenue. From Buick, the new symbol for quality in America.
He won the gold medal. He was heavyweight champion of the world. And now, there's only one prize George Foreman is hungry to take home.
I want the Colonel's secret. Want a box? Fine, winner gets the secret.
And so, they train. Foreman's quest, that one-of-a-kind secret blend of 11 herbs and spices that makes the Colonel's original recipe chicken taste even better than you remember.
It's so good, I want it bad.
For 1993, Fleer Ultra Baseball has even more gold foil stamping, dramatically improved backs, and new Ultra Hot limited edition subsets. 93 Fleer Ultra. Proof you still can't buy a better baseball card.
While you weren't looking, something magical happened. The durability of an oil-based enamel and the easy cleanup of a latex came together. Hard to believe? Try it and see. New Duratex Colors enamels from Red Devil for the finish of a lifetime.
For the Giants this afternoon, Darren Lewis, the center fielder, leads off. Robbie Thompson is the second baseman, batting second. Will Clark at first base, bats third. The cleanup hitter is third baseman Matt Williams. Barry Bonds is the left fielder, batting fifth. Dave Martinez, the right fielder, hits sixth. Royce Clayton is the shortstop, hitting seventh. Batting eighth and doing the catching, Kurt Manwaring. And the pitcher, Dave Burba, bats ninth.
The lineup for the Phillies is not as good as the defense for the San Francisco Giants, but it's adequate. Milt Thompson in left field, Lenny Dykstra, the center fielder, Wes Chamberlain in right field, Dave Hollins at third base, Kim Batiste, the shortstop, Mariano Duncan at second, and Ricky Jordan at first base, and Darren Dalton behind the plate. Ben Rivera has the highest earned run average of any of the Phillies starters. It's at 4.91. But you may say, well, the heck with the earned run average, he's still 9-4, and that's largely due to all the runs that the Phillies score when Ben Rivera is pitching. The Phillies are averaging over 7 runs a game when Rivera starts.
And you mentioned the defense, not as good as the Giants, certainly. Philadelphia only 10th in the 14-team National League in fielding, and Jim Fregosi said last night he could think of 10 games off the top of his head that the Phillies have handed away this year due to poor defense. Nothing poor about the defense of Darren Lewis. He has quickly established himself as one of the game's best center fielders. He's played 274 games to start his career without an error in the outfield, and that is the major league record. He's hitting .266. No score as the Giants bat for the first time. And Rivera's first pitch, a breaking ball for a strike. Lewis, Thompson, and Clark for San Francisco in the first inning. Out of play. Ben Rivera, like Burba, big guy. He's 6'6". Burba is 6'4". Ben's 230 pounds, just 24 years old. Second baseman Duncan into right field, a base hit to open the ball game for Darren Lewis.
So the Giants leadoff batter Darren Lewis, just like Lenny Dykstra, the Phillies leadoff batter singles to right.
Now Robbie Thompson, who's just returned to action after being sidelined for a while with a quadricep muscle injury. Thompson's .325 average has him 6th in the National League in hitting. Down the left field line. Thompson over to play. Lewis on his way to third. The throw comes to second base, holding Thompson to a ringing single. And the Giants threaten with first and third, and nobody out in the first inning.
Real hanger right here off of Ben Rivera. Thompson driving Lewis to third base easily. I think in a situation like this is what you can do is you concede a run. You hope Clark hits a double play ball or a sacrifice fly. You need an out right now to cut off the threat of a big inning, especially with the thunder coming up for the Giants.
including Will Clark, who's raised his average to 273, 9 homers, 51 knocked in. He jammed him, and Will pulled it foul. Giants, leading the major leagues in team batting average, have come out swinging with back-to-back hits to open the ball game. They haven't led the majors in hitting since 1962. Matt Williams on deck. Perhaps a double play ball if they hurry. No chance. It isn't out at second. Batiste lost it on the exchange. The run scores from third. Lewison to make it 1-0. Thompson erased on the fielder's choice, and Clark's aboard at first with 1 out.
Jim Batiste, an inexperienced shortstop. The more experienced shortstop becomes a first baseman in this situation. You stretch for the ball, and you don't even think about completing the double play. Batiste, however, clearly in the act of throwing, and that's why the out was called.
Now Matt Williams, 4th in the league in runs batted in with 69, 3rd in the league in home runs with 22. Despite having been sidelined with an abdominal muscle problem, he still has to be careful when driving out of the batter's box and start running toward first. That's when he feels that lower abdominal injury. First suffered on June 21st. He's aggravated it a couple of times. Rivera missed. 1 ball and 1 strike on the Giants' third baseman.
There is such force put into a swing. I'm really surprised that there aren't more rib cage injuries and lower abdominal pulls, usually caused when a hitter starts his swing and holds up.
Fastball on the inside corner. Williams didn't like it. On the gun downstairs, that pitch registered at 93 miles per hour. Jim Fregosi says this is the best starting rotation that he has ever managed. It's a much different rotation from about this time last year when the Phillies were on their way to a last place finish. Right around this time a year ago, the rotation was Terry Mulholland, Kurt Schilling, who are still in there for Philadelphia, Kyle Abbott, Cliff Brantley, and Brad Brink rounded out the rotation. The 2-2, lined and caught. Batiste back to first, not in time. Another well-hit ball by the Giants, but this time Williams hit it right at the shortstop Batiste for the second out of the inning.
This ball is torched to short. Watch Batiste catch the ball, and the force of the ball take the glove back. That was a P. Whew.
Now Barry Bonds, who leads the majors with 28 home runs, leads the National League with 77 runs batted in, and he's 4th in the league in hitting. Certainly it's possible down the stretch that Barry will vie for the Triple Crown. Today he's celebrating his 29th birthday. In the dirt. It gets away from Dalton, and Clark moves up to second. He's in scoring position with 2 outs.
But not for Barry Bonds. I think Jim Fregosi will walk him. Bonds leads the majors easily with 27 intentional walks. And, I mean, all that did was create a spot for Bonds. So if you're the Phillies, you really don't know. And you could see Barry Bonds looking over at the dugout to Jim Fregosi saying, hey, it's only the first inning. Bonds has batted 64 times with runners on base on base and first base open, and he's been walked 29 of those times, either intentionally or otherwise.
A couple of times in that series the weekend prior to the All-Star game in Philadelphia, Bonds looked over the dugout and gestured at Jim Fregosi as if to say, please just pitch to me one time. They pitched to him last night in the 9th inning as Philadelphia was protecting a 1-0 lead. Bonds was the leadoff hitter in the 9th and hit the first pitch of the 9th inning over the right field fence to tie it up and force extra innings. The Giants lost in 14. Now Dave Martinez has been playing right field with Willie McGee on the disabled list. And he's another one of those bench players who has performed so well in the absence of one of the regulars. Dusty Baker last night saying a big part of the Giants' success this year, the performances of Martinez and Mark Carrion in the outfield, Mike Benjamin, Steve Scarsoni, Paul Ferries in the infield. They went 8-5 while Williams was on the disabled list because Benjamin and Scarsoni did such a good job. Giants lead 1-0. They're looking to add to that. With first and second and 2 outs, Martinez at the plate, Royce Clayton on deck. Rivera's pitch fouled straight back and out of play, 0-2. Dusty Baker in his first year as Giants manager. After 5 years on the coaching staff of Roger Craig. He's won 65 of his first 98 games as manager. Most wins by a rookie manager in his first 100 games, 70 by Sparky Anderson with the 1970 Cincinnati Reds. Baker can't reach that with only 2 games to go to reach 100. He could have the second highest total. Another breaking ball in the dirt, blocked by Dalton, and has a chance to win the World Series. And those are as rookie managers who started their managerial careers on opening day and went through the entire season. That does not include guys like Tom Kelly, for example, who managed a little bit as an interim skipper the end of a season and then had his first full year the next year. Slowly towards second, Duncan throws him out. 1 run for San Francisco in the first. After one at Candlestick, the Giants 1 and the Phillies nothing.
Have you ever borrowed a book from thousands of miles away? Across the country?
Just ahead, take next exit.
Without stopping for directions?
Route 101.
Or sent someone a fax? From the beach? You will. And the company that'll bring it to you, AT&T.
To celebrate Buick's 90th anniversary, we proudly introduced the 90th anniversary LeSabre. LeSabre has a proven reputation for quality and the highest projected resale value in its class. Now, you get all this Buick quality, comfort, and elegance at a special anniversary price. The 90th anniversary Buick LeSabre. Quality its competition just can't hold a candle to.
When I slide into home, it's like 2 trains colliding. I'm the big train.
All men are created equal. Some just work harder in the preseason.
Imagine a deodorant that keeps a man feeling as clean and fresh as this, all through the day. Well, this is it. Introducing New Ban for Men. Clean and fresh because it goes on clear. And New Ban for Men sets up a clear shield of protection that fights odor-causing bacteria for a full 24 hours. Feel this clean. Feel this fresh. Try New Clear Ban for Men deodorant.
You're watching CBS Sports coverage of Major League Baseball.
Each team had 2 hits and a walk in the first inning, but a double play hurt the Phillies. The Giants capitalized to score 1 run. And they lead 1-0 as we go to the second. Milt Thompson, the left fielder, leads off against Dave Burba. He's hitting .244 with 3 homers and 35 driven in. Burba's first pitch, a fastball high for ball 1. Thompson, then Wes Chamberlain and Kim Batiste. Right back into your living room. 1 ball and 1 strike.
Thompson signing initially with the Atlanta Braves, going to the Philadelphia Phillies in the Steve Bedrosian trade, his second stint with Philadelphia.
That's a well hit ball to right. Martinez looking up at the wall and watching it go. Home run for Milt Thompson, way out of here and right. His 4th of the year, and the Phillies have tied the game at 1.
See, we talked about the stands before the game and in the first inning and said yet the elements were the same. The wind blowing out in right field. This ball way out of here by a guy who does not hit a lot of home runs, but when he hits them, he cranks them.
I'm trying to get into the upper deck.
Yeah.
Be interested to see if they post that on the tail of the tape. Two home runs of the 4 for Thompson have come against San Francisco. And the batter is Wes Chamberlain, the right fielder.
We talked earlier and in the opening about the San Diego Padres and how they've been trading a lot of players. I think it's worthy of note when you realize that the Phillies and the Giants have not made a major trade this year. And that is an indication of how well the benches, the guys on the benches for both teams have been doing, filling in when players have been injured.
And the home run by Thompson estimated at 426 feet.
Wow.
Big swing and a miss at the breaking ball by Chamberlain. He's in right field this afternoon. It was Eisenreich out there last night. Jim hit a home run. Well, how about the Boston Red Sox? They remain the hottest team in Major League Baseball. They beat Oakland today 5-3. Boston has won 9 games in a row and 24 of its last 29. Scott Cooper, Ernest Riles, and Luis Rivera homered in that game for Boston.
Normally you look at a score and you say, who was the starter in that game? Well, with Oakland, sometimes that's a moot point.
The first member of the committee to take the mound today.
Right.
Strike 3. Looked like Chamberlain checked his swing, but was called out by the home plate umpire Jim Quick. The Red Sox started today 1 percentage point ahead of New York and Toronto in the American League East. Now they're officially a half game ahead of their nearest pursuers. Baltimore within 1. Detroit starting to slide back. Tigers have lost 5 in a row. Kim Batiste playing shortstop this afternoon with Stalker out of action with the sprained ankle. Stalker moved into the starting lineup a couple of weeks ago when we were in Philadelphia. Batiste was a little bit upset that he had only a 4-game opportunity to be the starting shortstop. Aaron Lewis to catch in shallow center for the second out. He was making waves that weekend before the All-Star game about wanting to be traded if he wasn't going to have a chance to play, but he has since backed off that a little bit as he understands the situation a bit better and is happy in Philadelphia.
Not only filling in at shortstop, but he filled in admirably for Dave Hollins when Hollins missed 15 days.
So after the home run by Thompson, Burba has retired Chamberlain and Batiste and now works for the pitcher Ben Rivera, who's not a good hitter. Wouldn't you know it? He's a great hitter.
Might be the best hitter I've ever seen.
There he is at the moment. It's his 3rd hit of the year, folks. Right on cue, a ringing single into center for the Bambino, Ben Rivera.
Entered the game batting .080, 2 for 25. Piece of cake, huh, Ben? He said, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, the thing to which we were referring, Tony La Russa's use of, in a perfect world, 3 pitchers a game, each pitcher being limited with 50 pitches per appearance. And really, La Russa forced into that position. I mean, he no longer has an effective Dave Stewart or Mike Moore. Oakland, the next to last earned run average as far as their pitchers are concerned in the major leagues. Rather novel idea, though.
It is indeed. And why not try it? Their starting pitching has been a disaster. Doesn't appear that Oakland is going to contend. Dykstra with a high fly ball to right. Martinez on the edge of the track makes the catch. The Phillies tie it on the home run by Milt Thompson. And after an inning and a half, the Phils and Giants tied at 1.
He packs heavy. She packs light. She wears silk. He wears wool. He's comfortable at 68 degrees. She prefers 72. Good thing they own a Buick Park Avenue with available dual-zone climate control. 72 for her, 68 for him. Too bad everything isn't as accommodating as Park Avenue. From Buick, the new symbol for quality in America.
Look out, America. The Choiceosaurus sweepstakes is here. You could win $1 million or one of 7 $50,000 cash prizes. Pick up an entry form at any Quality, Comfort, Clarion, or Sleep Hotel, and you could be a winner, too.
We just won $50,000. Thanks, Comfort Inn.
The $1 million prize is still at large. Will Choiceosaurus bring it to you? Call 1-800-4CHOICE because offers like this happen once every 60 million years.
Communication is not crucial to our business. It is our business.
I have a pet peeve about people who don't return phone calls. So if you don't hear from me, you can rest assured I'm probably dead.
Century 21, rated best at selling homes.
The secret to a strong finish is endurance. New High Endurance. Just watch how a day's worth of our deodorant outlasts the leading stick even after 24 hours. For the longest lasting, the best deodorant stick, demand proof. Get New High Endurance from Old Spice.
I voted for you. And I voted for you. I only picked out $2.
You're unbelievable. You're so unbelievable. You're unbelievable. You're unbelievable.
A message from Major League Baseball.
The bottom third of the order is coming up for San Francisco in the bottom of the second. Royce Clayton will lead off. Then Kurt Manwaring and the pitcher Dave Burba against Ben Rivera. Clayton hitting .293 with 3 homers and 52 runs batted in, batting out of the number 7 spot of the batting order for most of the year.
Only 17 extra base hits for Royce. He has driven in 32 runs with singles this year. 32 of his 52 RBIs have come with singles. Certainly a good clutch hitter, but an indication that a lot of guys have been on base in front of him.
Particularly number 25, Mr. Bond,
yeah,
who's been batting 2 slots ahead of him in the batting order for most of the year. Rivera gave up 2 hits and an intentional walk in the first inning. He has fallen behind Clayton here 3-0. Then was acquired by the Phillies in May of 1992 from the Atlanta Braves in exchange for Donnie Elliott. If that name sounds familiar, he was one of the prospects who went to San Diego this week in the Fred McGriff trade. And Rivera, part of a starting rotation in which all of its members have come from other organizations, not a homegrown product among the 5 in the Philly rotation. Now Kurt Manwaring, trying to be only the 3rd catcher in the last 40 years to hit 300 for the Giants. He has an excellent shot at it at 298. Milt May and Dick Dietz are the others who have done it. Dietz hit exactly 300 in 1970. Milt May at 310 in 1981. Man where he might have been comfortably above that mark right now had he not suffered a wrist injury that affected his hitting a while back. Batiste stepped on the bag and turned the double play. Nicely done. It was a tricky play for Batiste as the ball actually took him past the second base bag and he had to reach back with the leg to tag it.
A batter with normal speed, you don't get the double play, but it was turned nicely by Batiste. Notice how he got his throw down and kind of flicked it to first base. And that's intentional. Royce Clayton certainly understands that, sliding in there. He's a shortstop himself. Shortstops do that to get the runner down and not to allow them to take him out of the play.
Dave Burba had to go into right off the glove of Duncan. We'll wait for the scoring. I was just starting to say, unlike Rivera, Burba is a good hitter. He's 4 for 12 this year. A couple of runs batted in, and they've given Dave a hit there, his 5th in 13 at-bats this season.
A play that perhaps should have been made because the ball came up. Had the ball stayed down, it would have been a more difficult play for Duncan. And here Dave Burba on an 82-degree day is putting on his jacket at first base.
This is about as tame as you'll ever find a candlestick. Very little breeze, bright sunshine, comfortably warm. Darren Lewis squared the bunt and took a ball. He singled to right field, opening the Giants first, and scored their run. Just missed. 2-0 on Lewis. Wendell Kim is the third base coach for San Francisco. It's an excellent coaching staff that Dusty Baker's assembled. You mentioned Dick Pohl, and he gets rave reviews from the Giants pitchers. Bobby Bonds, the hitting coach. Batiste had to go right through him. There's another play that should have been made. Lewis aboard on the air by Batiste. As we mentioned earlier, Jim Fregosi has seen this several times before.
And this is the 30th error on Phillies shortstops this year, the 7th error made by Batiste. You might say that is the Phillies' Achilles heel, and that's where the ball trickled through, 2 Achilles heels.
Batiste 7 errors at short. Mariano Duncan 12. Juan Bell made 9 before they let him go. Stockers made 2. 30 errors at short for Philadelphia. Now a chance to put something together with 2 outs for the Giants. Robbie Thompson checked his swing and took a ball outside. Burba, the runner at second. Lewis at first. 1-1 the score in the second inning. Borderline strike on the outside corner. 1-1 on Thompson, who hit 21 consecutive games earlier this season, matching Delino DeShields for the longest in the league.
Even though Thompson pulled the ball down the left field line, Lenny Dykstra playing him into right center. Sometimes if you're a hitter, all you have to do is take a look at the defensive outfield to find out how a team's trying to pitch you. It would be unusual, for instance, right here, for Rivera to intentionally to come inside to Thompson because of Dykstra shaded into right center. So he'll probably go away. Tied him up inside. We're 0 for 2.
And struck him out to end the inning. They leave 2. 1-1 after 2.
The PGA Championship, coming soon on CBS.
You like it?
Is that new Bonneville yours?
They really changed it, haven't they?
That's sharp. I figured you for a BMW or Lexus.
Well, I checked them out. But with the Bonneville, I got everything I wanted. Leather, airbag, anti-lock brakes, and the power, the handling.
Mind me asking?
It was 10, 20,000 less than the BMW or Lexus.
We are driving excitement, Pontiac.
I like it.
Me too.
Where to find the Mountain Man. A mountain man can often be found on the trail of adventure, in search of remote watering holes, or weathering harsh climates. Most often, however, you'll find the mountain man wherever you find smooth bush beer or easy drinking bush light. So, head for the mountains and find yourself in the wide, open world of the mountain man.
Recently, one of Subway's best customers suggested we offer our turkey breast sub with chips and a drink at a special price. He also suggested a name for this meal deal breakthrough. Abundant food consumables with potato wafers and enlarged fluid unit. Not bad, but we call it the mass quantities meal deal. It's for anyone who has a hearty appetite, or like my friend here, comes from France.
See the Coneheads movie and consume the mass quantities meal deal at Subway, the place where fresh is the taste.
While supplies last.
He doesn't like power breakfast. He'll take a pass on poetry. Deep down, he's a grown-up Boy Scout. Way grown. He likes feeling clean and cool and very male. And he knows how to get there. Where have you guys been? Brute. Men are back.
We hope you'll be with us 1 week from today, 1 o'clock Eastern Time, the start for CBS baseball action next Saturday. Some of you will see Detroit at Toronto, while others will watch Atlanta at Houston. That's next Saturday at 1 Eastern Time on CBS. This afternoon here on CBS, it's 1-1 as we go to the third in this matchup of the two division leaders in the National League. First pitch of the inning by Dave Burba. Ball to Mariano Duncan, who singled to center his first time up. Duncan, Jordan, and Holland, batters 2, 3, and 4. To bat against Burba. Out of play into the first base stand. And dropped. He had it and lost it. Duncan needs a new bat.
Duncan also had it and lost it. Hit it off the end of the bat. Firewood. Duncan has always been a very, very proficient hitter against left-handers. Not nearly as well against right-handers because they go away bad.
That's well hit to left center. Lewis watching that one go. Into the bleachers, a home run for Mariano Duncan. And the Phillies, with their second home run of the ball game off Dave Burba, take a 2-1 lead.
Yeah, and when you don't go out of the strike zone away off the plate and you try to time up, Duncan with surprising power. This ball right down the pipe by Burba. Home run number 7, make that number 8. Given up this year by Dave Burba. 2 in this game.
That one estimated at 413 feet, so he's given up a couple of bombs. 7th of the year for Duncan. The Phillies long ball coming from unlikely sources today in Thompson and Duncan. No swing, says first base umpire Kerwin Danley. On the check swing by Ricky Jordan. So the Phillies trying to make it 2 in a row over San Francisco. Have a 2-1 lead. Swing and a miss and a pitch out of the strike zone. Well outside. 2 balls and a strike.
Last night's game, a game won in 14 innings by the Phillies 2-1. I would be very surprised if this is a low-scoring ball game. The Giants scoring 8 runs in the first game of this series and beating the Philadelphia Phillies. They scored double digits 3 of the 4 wins at Philadelphia a couple of weekends ago, right before the All-Star break.
And this has been mentioned obviously, as a possible preview of the National League Championship Series. And if it is, this is the last series of the regular season between these two teams. You would think the Phillies need to start to fare a little bit better against San Francisco, because if they do play them in the playoffs the way San Francisco has knocked them around recently, that could be something that sticks in their minds. Not a lot of good fielders in the stands down there in the first or second row in right field. Full count on Ricky Jordan.
Jim Fregosi, with winning years, his first 2 years as a manager, 1978-79 with the Angels.
And he hasn't had one since. Jordan strikes out. The Phillies are in a race for the division title. We talked with Dave Hollins about it.
Since I've been in Philly, we've never even been close to being in a pennant race, and we've always been, you know, kind of just going through the schedule this time of year and been kind of, you know, laughed at by the other teams as far as respect goes. And now we're, you know, been in first place since, I think, you know, first series of the year. And, you know, we're battling with the Cardinals right now, and every game's big. And, you know, you're watching, you know, the scoreboard. Guys are talking about the games. And, we're, you know, it's a close-knit team where, you know, you got a common goal. And, you know, it's getting exciting. It's only going to get better, I think.
Now, imagine the Phillies hope that it really doesn't get better from the excitement standpoint, because having an 11.5 game lead might have been a little bit dull, but it was more comfortable than the 5-game lead that they enjoy over St. Louis now. The 1-1 pitch to Hollins missed. It's 2-1.
Last time the Philadelphia Phillies won a National League division was the same year they won a pennant. Back in 1983, they lost the World Series to Baltimore. Their only World Series championship in their history, coming in 1980.
No swing, says Ron Barnes down at third. 3-1 on Hollins. Well, the fans in that city deserve better.
Terrific
the way
fans.
They have supported the Phillies throughout the years. That's ball 4. Close pitch, but it just missed. Hollins watched for the second time. Burba has walked 2. Both have gone to Hollins. Phillies trying to become the 4th team in Major League history to go from worst one year to first the next. They'd be the 3rd team out of the 4 to do it in the 90s. Tim played against the Louisville Colonels, and what can you tell us about them?
I can tell you something about last year's Phillies, though. They were 72-90, but they were a better team than they ended the season. I mean, you could see the guys gaining confidence, the young players becoming more established. Their pitching staff, guys like Curt Schilling, Tommy Green, Terry Mulholland, coming together for them. Their starters have struggled recently. They are still a very sound starting rotation.
The Louisville Colonels, by the way, were managed by a fellow named Chicken Wolf. That's all I know about them. But that's more than most people watching today probably know.
That was when Louisville was in the American Association. Matter of fact, Louisville is still in the American Association, but it is a AAA league now. It was a major league in 1890.
It's one of the best AAA franchises, the way they packed them in. Dalton checked his swing. 3 balls and a strike on the Philadelphia catchers. Struck out his first time up.
And this was the situation that Fregosi was talking about last night to Sean and me. 3-1, don't look for the runner to run, because he considers this an offensive situation for the hitter, and that is rare in the big leagues.
Check swing, and there's back-to-back walks thrown by Burba. He's walked 3 in all now.
To expand on that subject just a bit, a lot of managers consider it an offensive situation if they send the runner, says Fregosi. But in Jim's opinion, The hitter is in a situation where he should select a pitch and drive the ball. And that's why Fragosi's philosophy on that is not to send the runner. Most big league teams think it's appropriate to send a runner with the count 3-1. And you know what? When I hear Jim explain it like that, I agree with him.
They explained that they don't hit and run much. They don't bunt much because they don't have guys who run very well, and they have a lot of guys who swing and miss. They lead the league in walks, but also in strikeouts. That makes a hit and run play a bit of a risky proposition. When you have batters who have a good eye and walk a lot, why make them swing at pitches just off the plate that they're pretty certain are going to be called balls?
And if runners run that ball just off the plate, they're more inclined to swing at, and they would normally take it. And that was a perfect situation with Dalton. Had Hollins been in motion, that ball was close enough to where Dalton thought, well, I've got to protect him. And then you got 3-2 with the runner still at first base instead of this situation.
Now Milt Thompson up there with 2 men on and 1 out. He had a mammoth home run last inning off the scoreboard just below the upper deck and right. It's chopped off the plate and foul. And for those of you who are just joining us, here's a look back at last inning's long ball by Milt Thompson. You see those folks in the lower deck and right looking up. That hit the scoreboard above them and bounced down to them. Hollins at second, Dalton at first. 1 out, 1 run in. The Phillies have taken the lead 2-1 here in the third on the leadoff home run by Mariano Duncan. We talk about these two teams and how trades have worked out well to help them build to the point where they're both first-place ball clubs. Burba was acquired in a much ballyhooed trade, but has certainly worked out well for San Francisco. He came from Seattle in the deal that sent Kevin Mitchell to the Mariners in December of 1991. The Giants also picked up Bill Swift and Mike Jackson in that deal.
May be understandable if you trade a guy like Mitchell to have those 3 pitchers on the roster the next year, but here it is 2 years later. How many times do you trade for 3 pitchers that are on the roster a couple of years later? And that, of course, is the case with Swift, Burba, and Jackson.
Tried to check his swing and could not. Thompson strikes out at the high fastball for the second out of the inning. Both have come on strikeouts for Dave Burba. And this pitch clocked at 94 miles per hour.
I think he's being clocked with the fast gun. Milt Thompson hitting a ball 426 feet, and now Dave Burba throwing a fastball 94 miles an hour. He is not normally the guy that you look at as a hard thrower, and Milt Thompson very upset with himself going with that high fastball. That's common for a player that doesn't play regularly, however. You're more inclined to swing at bad balls.
Now Wes Chamberlain with 2 men on and 2 outs. 1 strike on Chamberlain. Acquired in the trade from the Pirates when Carmelo Martinez went to Pittsburgh. Another deal that's worked out well for Philadelphia. Deep to center field. Lewis just in front of the warning track makes the catch. The Phillies take the lead on the Duncan homer and will return to Candlestick Park after this message and a word from your local station.
Outlaw turned lawman.
I'm Ned Blessing.
Producer of Lonesome Dove comes an authentic Southwest adventure. Ned Blessing, coming soon to CBS.
This summer, get into the cold. Tune into CBS on Monday nights for the coolest episodes of Northern Exposure. Sponsored by Miller Genuine Draft. Northern Exposure, it's a cool place to be.
This is CBS.
Got a Pepsi for me?
This week at a Ray's Thriftway near you, all Pepsi product 12 packs, $3.29. Fresh local corn, 10 ears for $1. Ray's Thriftway.
It's Toyota's July's Jumpin' Sales event. Drive the car everyone's talking about. Camry XLE V6, the best car built in the U.S. And right now, our special Camry lease program makes it even easier to get into our popular 4-cylinder Camry. Experience what Car and Driver calls one of the 10 best cars for 1993. But see a Toyota dealer now, because when deals is good, you gotta jump on it.
Toyota's got it.
Hot cars, hot deals.
July is jumping.
Beat the dealer. A huge new and used vehicle disposal sale this Friday through Sunday at Frank Chevrolet. Beat the dealer. Every new Chevy marked at prices based from actual dealer cost. The lowest price is guaranteed on any used car, truck, or van. Plus a Las Vegas vacation package with every purchase. Beat the dealer. This weekend, get a 5-day, 4-night vacation package to Las Vegas with your purchase of any new or used car, truck, or van. Beat the dealer. $49 down delivers any car this weekend during our huge vehicle disposal sale. See our insert in this weekend Yakima Herald. If you don't come see us today, we can't save you any money. Frank Chevrolet Geo, Wapano.
KIMA, 40 years of bringing it home for you.
We've talked about some of the changes that the Giants have made on and off the field. One of the off-the-field changes is the new public address announcer, Sherry Davis. You're looking at Sherry, the first full-time female public address announcer in Major League Baseball history. There have been other women who have performed that function on a one-shot basis, but Sherry is the full-time public address announcer here at Candlestick Park, and generally has been very well received by the players and fans here.
Very, very popular. She started off making $75 a game, and now she's moved into the team's public relations office and will work for the Giants full-time during the offseason.
Will Clark hit by a pitch. Let's listen to Sherry.
Now batting, third baseman, Matt Williams.
Matt Williams' line is short his first time up. It does take a while to get used to. You're so accustomed to hearing a man's voice over a PA system when you're in a ballpark. Last night, first time I had been in this park this year, and it's interesting. Sherry Davis has her own fan club that has sprung up in this area. She has a lot of mail. Interesting article in the local paper here not too long ago about Sherry Davis. One male fan said, "She's all right, but she sounds like she's my mother telling me to put away my clothes." And a female fan said, "The fact that she's a woman gives us all hope. She's just as exciting to listen to as any of the men that have been doing it." An excellent job. Ben Rivera struggling at the moment with Matt Williams after hitting Clark with a pitch. It's 2-0 on Williams.
I'm kind of interested in that fellow who wrote that letter, and interested in how his mother told him to put away his clothes.
No.
She'd do that over a public address system.
Perhaps he
lived in a big home.
That male fan was Phil Spiegel, a student from San Francisco. The female fan who thinks Sherry Davis is terrific, Jennifer Bourne, a student from Santa Rosa. Spin line drive to left. Basket catch made by Thompson. Nice play on a tricky ball that was sinking fast and left for the first out of the inning. Williams is lined out twice, once to short and once to left.
Well, we mentioned earlier that nothing is routine in this ballpark because of the conditions, the bright, glaring sun and the wind. And Milt Thompson, a good outfielder, normally makes an easier play out of a ball, off the bat of Matt Williams. Big play for the Phillies, too.
Now Barry Bonds checked his swing. Not in time, said Jim Quick. One strike on Bonds, who was intentionally walked for the 28th time this year in the first inning. The Phillies lead 2-1. We're in the bottom of the third. Bonds with a 5-home run lead in the National League over David Justice of Atlanta. Matt Williams running third at the moment, but if they finish 1 and 2, they'd be only the 5th pair of teammates to rank 1 and 2 in the National League in home runs. As you noted before the game, Tim, 3 of the 4 tandems that have done it are Giants.
That's right. Mellott, Johnny Mize in 42, then Cepeda and Mays in 61, and Mays again in 65, along with Stretch, Willie McCovey. Still enormously popular in this town. Willie McCovey, probably the most popular San Francisco Giant.
Well, that's quite a statement when you see the other name on that list.
That's true.
Next to his. Covey's number 44, retired along with the 27 of Juan Marichal. The 24 of Willie Mays in right field. They also have numbers on display in left. And Bonds just did get a piece of it to hang alive at 1 and 2.
Dave, Bonds is having such a great year, and you look at all the numbers that have been retired. There have been 8 of them. The New York/San Francisco Giants: Terry, Ott, Hubble, McGraw, Mays, McCovey, and I think Barry Bonds, if he has half the year that he's having this year for another 10 years, his number will be retired in this ballpark. What a remarkable year he has had.
He's wearing the number 25 that his father Bobby wore when he played for San Francisco. Hollins from the grass. Good stretch by Jordan. For the second out. And on the play, Clark moved into scoring position. Barry Bonds, as we mentioned, his first time up, turns 29 today, and really are a number of similarities between Barry at age 29 and where his father Bobby Bonds was at the same point in his career.
And this may be a bit of an overstatement, but I think Barry Bonds has had such a good year up to this point that he could get hurt, be out for the rest of the season, and still win the MVP award. Missed the last 9 weeks of the season.
There's Bobby Bonds, the first base coach, hitting instructor for San Francisco. Gets a lot of the credit from the players for San Francisco's major league leading team average. Barry admits that father and son really weren't very close when Barry was growing up. As a matter of fact, he said his relationship with his dad wasn't really very good until Barry headed off to college. Dave Martinez sinks one in the left for a hit. They're sending Clark. Thompson with the throw to the plate. Saves is Clark. He just did beat the tag from Dalton. Jim Fregosi will argue this one.
I don't think Clark touched the plate yet. I think Darren Dalton's right foot spun him around toward the first base side. And I think that's what Dalton and Fregosi are saying right now.
It also looked like Jim Quick was going to call him out. It looked like he was winding up to make that call and then changed it to save.
Martinez with a single to left field. Catchers are taught to protect away, and Will Clark goes against that strategy by coming inside the line. He may have touched the home plate with his left foot, but not his right one. Watch Dalton spin him away with the right foot. But he may have touched it with his left foot. Here it is again. Maybe his left knee.
So it's a tie game at 2. A single for Martinez and an RBI. He moved into second on the throw to the plate. The 13th RBI for Dave Martinez.
What you do when you're blocking the plate is you try to keep your weight on the left foot and ward everything outside. But it was a fine slide by Will Clark, and he just may have touched the plate. Most base runners will rarely come inside the line to slide. Most will try to go outside, and that's why catchers can spin them off the plate away. Dalton tried to do that inside, but Clark was in there.
The ball and a strike on Royce Clayton. Fastball nipped the corner from Ben Rivera, 1-2. Clayton walked his first time up. Clayton is from South Central Los Angeles. Grew up in a tough neighborhood. Said he wasn't the best baseball player in the neighborhood by far, but some of the others fell by the wayside. Some were shot and killed. And Some lost the battle with drugs. Clayton has made it to the major leagues, and he's out on the fly ball to right to end the inning. The Giants get one to tie it. Will Clark across to make it 2-2.
Ever wonder what happens to your initial investment when you buy certain mutual funds through a broker and pay front-end fees? Well, by the time they charge you sales loads and account fees, it's actually costing you hundreds of dollars before you start. But now there's a better way. At Charles Schwab, you can choose from 200 well-known no-load mutual funds with proven track records.
You pay no loads and no transaction fees.
So if you want all of your money to work for you,
maybe it's time to come to Schwab.
The Grand Am's great.
Well, what happened to the Accord?
Yeah.
I found out what the Accord really costs. With air, automatic, anti-lock brakes, $19,500.
Whoa.
Huh? They weren't talking to me.
Really?
Wow.
The Grand Am, they don't give that away.
Air, automatic, standard anti-lock brakes, $5,000 less than the Accord.
$5,000 less?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You know what that means a month? It's got me into a new car.
What are you going to do with the money?
Eat.
Do you have a problem with food sticking to your barbecue? Just spray all-natural Pam on a cold grill, and your problem will go away. Pam makes summer less sticky.
If you want to save money on home repairs, listen up. Thompson's Wood Protector Preservative has more of everything wood needs to protect it, from water, sun, and mildew damage. Consider yourself told. Thompson's Wood Protector Preservative. It's #1 for wood.
How do you improve on 92's best baseball cards? You give them the same UV treatment, then add even more gold foil stamping. You dramatically improve the backs and set new standards for limited edition subsets. With more intense action, higher impact design, electrifying graphics, and foil stamping on both sides. 93 Fleer Ultra. Proof you still can't buy a better baseball card.
This game summary is sponsored by Dr. Scholl's.
After 3 innings, this game tied at 2. Will Clark has knocked one in and scored one for San Francisco. The Phillies runs on homers by Milt Thompson and Mariano Duncan.
And it looks like Will Clark may have been safe by a Dr. Scholl's foot pad at home. Darren Dalton with the weight on the left foot and frozen right there. We'll try to get back to it after this play.
A pop up taken in by Will Clark off the bat of Kim Baptiste. 1 out.
Try to freeze that with Dalton, his weight on his left foot, and then right there with the weight not on the right foot, it looks as though Will Clark pushed through the right foot and just touched the front part of the plate with his knee.
Yes. Now Ben Rivera, one of the great hitting pitchers of all time, with his single to center. Back in the second, raising his average up to 115 with his 3rd hit of the year. Dave Burba in with a strike. Burba has now thrown 73 pitches through 3 1/3. The breaking ball, and it fooled Rivera. Ben Rivera is from San Pedro de Macorís in the Dominican Republic, known as the cradle of shortstops, but not as the home of pitchers. Mariano Duncan, George Bell, Juan Samuel, Tony Fernandez, Sammy Sosa among those from the same town. You notice the lack of pitchers on the list with the exception of Ben Rivera. Tim, I think the weather's probably nice down there today. As it usually is. Let's put a little high pressure system and erase it as the pitch goes to the plate. Let's check in with meteorologist Tim McCarver.
Well, if I'm going to be a meteorologist, I have to be a doctor. What you hope is not happening is one of those things heading toward the Dominican Republic. In about a month, it'll be that season.
It's strikeout season for Ben Rivera. 2 outs in the 4th. At the conclusion of today's game, Dr. McCarver and I will select the Chevrolet Most Valuable Player of the game. Chevrolet will donate $1,000 in the player's name to the Special Olympics. A number of other pitchers in the major leagues from the Dominican Republic, but not from San Pedro. Juan Guzman, Ramon Martinez, Jose Rijo, Melito Perez, Pedro Astacio. All from the Dominican Republic.
And I know who could be the pitching coach. Hall of Famer, the only Hall of Famer from the Dominican Republic, Juan Marichal, one of the 8 numbers retired here for the San Francisco Giants.
Lenny Dykstra. They need to cover first. Burba did not get there. Dykstra beat him to the bag. The Giants spent about an hour working on that play yesterday. About the second time this year they went through that fundamental drill that you see so often in spring training and rarely see thereafter. Pitchers covering first, but Burba couldn't beat Dykstra.
Dusty Baker saying that he has so many strengths on his ball club, but his pitcher's fielding is not one of them.
I thought he was out.
Looked like Burba beat him. Yeah.
Close from that angle.
I think it's the difference between a size 13D and a size 8.5C. Burba appeared to beat him.
Dusty Baker was talking yesterday about what a good athlete Dave Burba is. That he spends about an hour before and after the game riding the bike. Very strong legs. Excellent stamina. He's not worried about Burba as a starter, even though he's ordinarily a relief pitcher in terms of going deep into a ball game. Yeah, his foot just beat him at Dykstra's. But you can understand why Kerwin Danley might have a problem with the call. We've had a look at it 6 times. Low and away. And Mariano Duncan batting in the 4th in a 2-2 game with 2 outs in Dykstra at first. 2-0 on the Phillies second baseman, who singled in the 1st and hit a home run to left center in the 3rd. Dykstra with 25 steals and has only been thrown out 4 times. He and Mickey Morandini, really the only serious stolen base threats among the regulars. Will Thompson 3rd on the club with 7 stolen bases.
Tough to run on Kurt Manwaring. He has thrown out 47% of the runners that have tried to steal against him, and that is the best in the National League.
Dykstra runs on 3-0. Manwaring's throw not in time. Dykstra has his 26th stolen base of the year.
And if a catcher makes a throw like that, the shortstop covering and the throw's right there, and you still don't get the runner, that is what is meant as stealing off the pitcher. Dykstra with a tremendous jump off of first. And watch Manwaring. The throw is right there. He got rid of it quickly, and Dykstra still safe. Stolen base number 26 for Dykstra on the year.
Base hit. And it'll be a big stolen base as Dykstra comes around to score. So the Phillies appeared to catch a break on the call at first, and they take advantage of it. Mariano Duncan with his 3rd hit of the day and 2nd RBI, and the Phils lead again 3-2.
2 close plays on the bases, both resulting in runs. We looked at the close play at the plate when Will Clark appeared to get in there. And now a play that has gone for the Phillies. It appeared that Burba beat Dykstra, but then Lenny steals second base and scores on another hit by Duncan. Duncan 3 for 3 on the afternoon.
And evidence of what Dick Cole was telling us yesterday about Dave Burba. He can't afford to work behind in the count.
Not too many pitchers can. There are a few that can overcome it. There's Dick Cole, who has done such a nice job of the Giants pitchers, and sitting to his left, Bob Lillis, former manager with the Houston Astros, who has done such a fine job for Dusty Baker as his bench coach.
certainly would help a first-year manager to have a guy like Lillis on the bench nearby who has seen just about every possible situation you can see from a strategic standpoint. I started to say earlier, it is an excellent coaching staff that Dusty has assembled. He used the word tough yesterday, which I thought was interesting. He does have a lot of strong-willed and tough-minded people on that staff, including the man they call Flea, Bob Lillis.
He's a tough flea.
Through Burba, nice play by Thompson, and Clayton got there in time for the out.
Thompson on a brilliant diving stop to get his man. Fine play by Thompson.
CBS Sports presents Major League Baseball. Today's game is brought to you by Oldsmobile. The Century 21 system. Discover the power of #1. And by Quality, Comfort, Clarion, and Sleep Hotels.
It's been a game of one-run innings to this point, and Philadelphia has a 3-2 lead as we go to the bottom of the fourth. It's all over at Detroit. Kansas City has won 4 in a row. The Tigers have lost 6 straight, 6-3 the final in favor of Kansas City. So with the win, the Royals now 50-46 in a game and a half behind front-running Chicago in the American League West. First pitch of the bottom of the fourth, a strike to Kurt Manwaring. He bounced into a double play his first time up. He'll be followed by the pitcher Burba. And then the top of the order, Darren Lewis against Ben Rivera. Neither pitcher has worked a 1-2-3 inning. In Kansas City's win over Detroit, Tom Gordon was the winning pitcher. Jeff Montgomery saved it his 30th. And George Brett hit 2 home runs, his 8th and 9th of the season on this day, which is the 10th anniversary of the famous Pine Tar home run against the Yankees on July 24th of 1983. Kansas City at New York.
Greg Nettles, the Yankee third baseman, calling attention to it. Billy Martin running out, and then George Brett. Who can forget him coming out of the dugout? It's replayed over and over and over.
When they talk about eyes popping out of one's head, that's probably the best demonstration of that, which I think is really anatomically impossible. His eyes really were bulging, that's for sure. But Tim McClellan was the umpire, I believe. Three-2 pitch to Manwaring, fouled straight back and out of play.
Home runs taken away from hitters. They are extraordinarily difficult to come by, as everybody knows. In 1963, I was behind the plate when Henry Aaron stepped out of the box against Kurt Simmons and was called out, and he hit a ball out of the park. Otherwise, it would have been 756 for Hank.
Very interesting. Hollins throws out Manwaring.
Chris Pellicudis was the home plate umpire. As you look at other scores.
Dave Gallagher, a solo home run for the Mets. Boston won its 9th straight. Aaron Seeley, the rookie, now 4-0. Yankees lead 5-3. At one time, it was 5-0. Chili Davis a home run. Baltimore leads 3-0. Brady Anderson has a home run in that game against the Twins. And then Jamie Moyer provided Baltimore with a nice lift. He's on the mound and blanking the Twins into the bottom of the 5th inning at the Metrodome. Burba, a swing and a miss, and he's in the hole 0-2. Dating back to his last outing, Burba has 3 hits in his last 3 at-bats and 1 for 1 today with a single to right.
He was out of the box when he made contact. Did you see how he ran up on the box?
Well, good thing he didn't hit a home run. We would have had another.
I was going to say, he must have heard that Henry Aaron story. All the great hitters step out of the box. I guess.
Well, he stayed in that time, but now he's out.
This was the pitch before. Look at Burba stepping up.
Oh, he's way out.
He's out of the box. He is out. Had that ball been put in play, it would have been the... Had it been the opinion of the home plate umpire, he could have called him out.
Can't sneak any of those rules violations past our crew, our director Bob Fishman, our producer Bob Deacons. Darren Lewis with a pop-up. It'll be close near the photographer area. Ricky Jordan over, got a glove on it, but couldn't squeeze it. Lost the ball and his hat into that row of photographers.
The former being the most important. You can get another hat, but outs are tough to come by. Off the end of the glove of Ricky Jordan, he had a long way to go. He had to look at the photographer's well near the Giants dugout. No error on the play. Had he made the catch, it would have been a very fine play.
How often during the season would you change your hat?
It's an interesting question. I used to wear the hard hat behind the plate, but a soft hat, I didn't wear it often enough to change it that many times. There's Darren Dalton wearing the hard hat as a catcher. About 25 years ago, that was not in vogue, but it should have been.
Some players get very attached to bats or gloves. You wonder if they have the same attachment to their hat. Deep probing question. More of those when we come back. 1, 2, 3. Go the Giants in the fourth.
Whoa, boy. You know, at Quality Comfort Clearing and Sleep Hotels, kids and grandkids not only get to stay free. Good boy. They also get a free choice of stars. Pretty cool, huh? Say, boy. So call 1-800-4CHOICE to reserve your room now, because offers like this only come once every 60 million years.
Kids stay free and get a free Choiceosaurus. Supplies are limited. Call 1-800-4CHOICE.
Ever consider leasing a car? Fine. Let me tell you about Smart Buy. Take the Oldsmobile Achieva, the car that beat Honda Accord and Toyota Camry in an independent 100,000-mile test. And now you can buy an Achieva S for just $199 a month for 36 months. So stop by anytime. It's your choice.
I brush my teeth 3 times a day. So just imagine when the dentist said, Annie, you've got tartar. And he reached for that pick. Doctor, I asked, isn't there an easier way? He said, Annie, use the tougher toothpaste, Tartar Control Crest.
Because of Crest's exclusive tartar-fighting formula, we're so sure you'll have less tartar in 6 months, we'll give you a money-back guarantee.
So I started using Tartar Control Crest, and my next visit's great.
Less tartar in 6 months guaranteed. From Crest, the dentist's choice.
Now I don't get picked on so much anymore.
Every season is more of a physical challenge, but after 26 years in the majors, I've learned to take care of myself. Like now, when my muscles are sore, I take Advil. Just a couple of Advil, and I'm ready to go another 9 innings. To last as long as I have, you got to stick with what works.
Advil, advanced medicine for pain.
You're watching CBS Sports coverage of Major League Baseball.
Three to 2 in favor of Philadelphia as the Phils bat in the 5th inning against Dave Burba. 1 ball on Dave Hollins. We've seen a lot of balls already today. He's walked twice. He'll be followed by Darren Dalton and Milt Thompson. Philadelphia has scored 1 run in every inning except the first. Burba has already given up 7 hits. And he has walked 3, but the Phillies have just the 3 runs and a 1-run lead. The closest pursuers, St. Louis, 5 games back starting today, is at Colorado later on. The Atlanta Braves, the nearest pursuer of the San Francisco Giants, play at Pittsburgh today. A strike. Hollins thought he had walked for the 3rd time. Base hit left field. And Philadelphia has the lead man on for the 4th time in 5 innings. Sean McDonough along with Tim McCarver. We hope you're enjoying this afternoon's ball game. You enjoyed most of your experiences here at Candlestick Park, but not all of them.
No, Dave Hollins, we showed earlier where he had the scar in his right hand. I've got a scar on the back of my right hand. May 2nd, 1970, I broke my hand. Willie Mays was the batter. He fouled the ball off. I got a little careless in a 9-2 game. And 1 out later, Mike Ryan, the only other catcher of the Phillies, broke his left hand. Same inning. And Mike Ryan's in the ballpark today. As a matter of fact, Irish is the bullpen coach of the Philadelphia Phillies.
You said when you ran into Mike Ryan at the hospital, he had an interesting thing to say to you.
Yeah, well, as a matter of fact, I tried to check in at the hospital with an ice pack on my right hand. And the attendant there said, "You're Mr. Ryan." I said, "No, I'm not. I understand that there's." Said, "Well, we've got down here that Mr. Ryan." They had forgotten me, and they had gotten Mike Ryan. He's got a scar on his left hand, and Mike and I in wheelchairs there, and Mike looked at me. I was the number one catcher. He was the number 2, and he said, "I've been waiting all year for this to happen to you." And then it had to happen to me too.
1-2 on Dalton, who was struck out and walked.
Speaking of catchers, if the Phillies lost this guy, that would make their road a lot tougher.
He has played in 92 now of the 99 Philadelphia games this season, on a pace to catch more than 140 again this year. And Bob Boone is the only catcher in Phillies history to catch 140 games or more in 2 consecutive years. The only other active catcher who's ever done that 2 years in a row is Tony Pena. Two and 2 on Dalton. Hollins at first and nobody out. 3-2 Philadelphia in the 5th. Darren admitted to you yesterday when you were chatting that he was very tired during that All-Star break.
That's why Jim Fregosi gave him what was to be a night off last night, but he did enter the game as a pinch hitter, and it was his walk in the 14th that led to a run.
He golfed that one foul. Pitches starting to pile up for Burba. He's on the verge of 100 here in the 5th inning. And if you're just joining us, no Mike Jackson out there in the bullpen today for Dusty Baker and Dick Cole. He was placed on the 15-day disabled list with a knee injury. Suffered in a collision with Will Clark in the 14th inning of last night's game. And these Phillies have really been the marathon men of baseball this year. They had the doubleheader against San Diego on July 2nd. It went till 4:40 a.m. They had a 20-inning ball game against the Dodgers on July 7th. It went 6 hours and 10 minutes. They played 11 extra inning games this year. Only the Dodgers have played more in all of Major League Baseball. But the good news for the Phillies is when they go overtime, usually they win. With their win last night, they're 9-2 in extra innings.
How do you figure that with a team that's not noted for its bullpen?
Dalton popped it up in play this time for Matt Williams. Battling a high sky, very little breeze. 1 out here in the 5th. Now Milt Thompson, who had a big home run over 400 feet in the 2nd, his 4th of the year. He struck out swinging at a high Burba fastball in the 3rd. To center field, Lewis on the run. It's over his head and off the wall. Hollins is being waved in, and he will score, and the Phillies lead by 2. It's 4-2. A rising line drive for Milt Thompson, his 2nd hit and 2nd RBI of the ball game.
You don't see Darren Lewis misplay too many balls. I think had he gone back initially instead of over and then back, he doesn't have to jump for the ball. It is so rare that Darren Lewis ever misplays a ball, and that certainly was not a clear misplay, but it's a ball that San Francisco fans have gotten used to seeing him catch. He has never made an error in his big league career. 275 games now without an error.
Wes Chamberlain, the batter, 1-0 the count. He is struck out and flied to center. 9 hits now for Philadelphia, and as a result, the bullpen will swing into action for San Francisco. The medium range center, Thompson is tagging, but won't try it. 2 down.
I think Darren Lewis's record, by the way, is particularly significant because he plays most of his games, or at least half of his games, here at Candlestick Park. Talking to Willie Mays years ago, he told me the toughest center field in the National League to play was Shea Stadium in New York, and the second toughest, Candlestick Park.
Why Shea Stadium? Because of the
horseshoe shape and the swirling and the low-lying aircraft.
That's right.
Low-flying aircraft.
Pulled the ball out of the 747s flying overhead.
But really, that horseshoe shape of Shea Stadium and the swirling wind creating fly balls that you can't gauge properly.
Gino Minatelli is the left-hander warming up in the San Francisco bullpen. They're intentionally walking Kim Batiste to get to the pitcher Rivera. First and second and 2 outs, 1 run in for the Phillies here in the 5th. They've opened up a 4-2 lead. Rivera had his 3rd hit of the season in the 2nd, a single to center. He struck out in the 4th. Breaking ball missed. Ben Rivera well supported again today. He's been given more run support by his mates than any other starter in the National League. Over 7 runs per ball game. That's down to first, bobbled by Clark. He has plenty of time to make the play and end the inning. 1 run for the Phillies in the 5th. Halfway through the ball game, they lead 4-2.
Didn't I see you with a Honda dealer yesterday? Yeah, you were looking at that Accord. Well, you should know that in an independent 100,000-mile test, the Oldsmobile Achieva beat the Accord. And now you can buy an Achieva S with air, automatic, anti-lock brakes, and more for just $199 a month for 36 months. It's your choice.
This is hydroplaning in less than an inch of water, and they're not being pulled by a boat, but by Goodyear AquaTread radials. AquaTread's deep groove design channels water away to keep more tire in contact with the road for outstanding wet traction. This is hydroplaning. This is AquaTreading, the all-season AquaTread only from Goodyear. It comes with a 60,000-mile tread life warranty. Goodyear AquaTread. Try a set. We like to say the best tires in the world have Goodyear written all over them.
How do you improve on 92's best baseball cards? You give them the same UV treatment, then add even more gold foil stamping. You dramatically improve the backs and set new standards for limited edition subsets with more intense action, higher impact design, electrifying graphics, and foil stamping on both sides. 93 Fleer Ultra. Proof you still can't buy a better baseball card.
I gotta go. I got another call. I'm Larry Bonadonna, territory sales rep.
He just walked in off the street.
Like a stray dog. Rochelle is the controller for M&J Trim.
When he first came, I said, give me an offer, write it down.
They need proof.
He wrote it down and he stuck to it.
MCI started a new program. The company puts it in writing. This is what she'll be saving. If your calling patterns change, we're going to be able to credit you. We're going to call it proof positive.
Other suppliers don't do what Larry has done for me.
Proof positive. I always knew I was a good guy, and now I can prove it.
The world's top cyclists. The world's greatest race. The world will be there. So should you. The Tour de France, Sunday on CBS.
Friends, this copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of Major League Baseball and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form without the express written consent of Major League Baseball. Halfway through the ball game, the Phils lead 4-2. They've out-hit the Giants 9-4. Giants coming up with Robbie Thompson, Will Clark, and Matt Williams. Batters 2, 3, and 4 against Ben Rivera. Mentioned at the end of last inning the run support for Rivera, 7.3 runs per start. Should he finish the season being that well supported, he'd be the first starter to have been supported by an average of 7 runs per start since Don Newcomb back in 1955. He's getting almost unprecedented support from his teammates this year. Robbie Thompson, the batter, 1-1 in the count. Robbie is single to left and struck out swinging. Off-speed pitch. Dalton tried to frame it. Jim Quick wouldn't go for it. 2 balls and a strike.
Don Newcomb with a lot of run support in 1955, but Ben can take heed that the next year he was the first Cy Young Award winner ever. 1956, Don Newcomb, the first Cy Young Award winner, and only one was given until the year 1967. Remarkable when you consider Sandy Koufax, a 3-time Cy Young Award winner, when only one was given.
That's high, and the count is full on Thompson. Popped up, and that's drifting out of play. Ben Rivera lost his last start. It's been a while between starts. That was on the 9th of this month against San Francisco. Giants ended his personal winning streak at 5. That's ball 4 to bring the tying run to the plate with nobody out in the 5th. They really roughed around Rivera in that start on the 9th. He lasted just an inning plus and gave him 9 earned runs on 8 hits.
Speaking of starts, he missed the start. His last start, he was scheduled to start against the Los Angeles Dodgers last week. And while attempting to bunt, he was hit on the right index finger by pitching coach John Vukovich. And Ben had to miss a start. So it's been a while since he has started.
It was during batting practice, obviously, when Vukovich hit him on the index finger with high moving gas. The phrase used by John Vukovich to describe his pitch. He said, "My heart stopped when I hit Ben with the pitch." Rivera had the bat out to bunt, typical horizontal fashion. He said the pitch was coming at him. It became a vertical bat right in front of his face. Fortunately, he didn't hit Ben in the face. He got the bat up in front of his face, but it hit him on the finger. Will Clark. That looked like a strike. Called a ball, and it's 2-0 on the Thrill, who had an RBI with a fielder's choice in the first, was hit by a pitch and scored in the third. What's wrong with this pitch?
Rivera wanted it. Dalton wanted it. They did not get the call. Dangerous situation for Will Clark with the count 2 balls and no strikes.
Tying run at the plate. And Williams is on deck. Off speed, and that is a strike. There's Williams. Hit the ball sharply a couple of times today with nothing to show for it. Blowing in, 3 balls and a strike. Well, another final from the American League. The Yankees have held on to defeat California 5-3. So New York keeps pace with Boston atop the American League East. And the Blue Jays will try to do the same later on when they're at Texas. The Yankees have won 3 in a row. 7 of their last 11. That's ball 4. It puts the tying run aboard with nobody out. Rivera pitching with a 2-run lead in the 5th has walked the first 2 hitters. And that'll bring Johnny Padres, the pitching coach, out to the mound.
Funny you mentioned that run support for Don Newcomb back in 1955. It was Johnny Padres' 2-0 win over the Yankees to give Brooklyn their only world championship over the much ballyhooed, and for a reason, Yankees. Padres winning Game 7.
There is action in the Philadelphia bullpen for the first time. It's right-hander Roger Mason. Matt Williams is lined to short and lined to left. He's the go-ahead run at the plate and the owner of 22 round trippers this year. Breaking ball sent Williams spinning out of the way. Swing at a ball in the dirt. Rivera wants it appealed down to first. And Quick didn't look in that direction. 2 balls and no strikes. Mariano Duncan comes into the mound. Rivera can't find the strike zone here in the 5th as he works with a 4-2 lead.
Rivera really dancing through the raindrops. He had 2-0 and 3-1 the count on Will Clark. Now it's 2-0 to Matt Williams. It's interesting to note the reminders that hitters continually, subliminally give themselves. Matt Williams particularly interesting. Watch how his chin goes to his left shoulder often. That's a reminder to himself to keep the front shoulder in there.
There it took something off, just trying to get it over, and he did. Williams didn't think so. And if there are other areas in which Williams needs help, he can look down to the first base coach, Bobby Bonds, who is constantly giving signs to the hitters, especially Williams, on mechanical things that they might be doing incorrectly. Maybe he's a particularly messy eater and just feels like he might have something on his chin. That's well hit towards somebody's chin in center. Home run, Matt Williams. A 3-run homer, and San Francisco takes a 5-4 lead.
Now batting.
Well, Rivera got himself into the jam with the walks to Thompson and Clark to open the inning, then fell behind Williams that had to come in with one. And Matt lined it out of here for his 23rd round tripper of the year, tying with David Justice of Atlanta for 2nd in the league behind the man at the plate, Barry Bonds, in his 28 long balls.
So after the All-Star game, Matt Williams hit a 2-run homer, his first at-bat, and he has homered his last at-bat, a 3-run shot. He got all of that one.
Bonds trying to hit one out himself, took a big hack. That one estimated at 429 feet by Williams. So we've seen some long home runs. That was over the fence just to the left of the 400 mark and straightaway center. The 2-1 to Bonds was walked and bounced out, is bounced foul down to the Giants bullpen. Minutelli continues to warm up. 5 runs on just 5 hits for San Francisco. 4 runs, 9 hits, and an error for Philadelphia in the 5th. Still nobody out. Down to first to Ricky Jordan. 1 out. They expected a sellout crowd here today at Candlestick, and it appears we have that. Just a few scattered empty seats in the upper reaches of the upper deck. And they've seen a terrific ball game between the 2 division leaders in the National League. Back and forth affair. The Giants led 1-0 with a run in the 1st. The Phillies tied it with a run in the 2nd. Took a 2-1 lead in Philadelphia with a run in the 3rd. The Giants tied it with 1 in the bottom of that inning. Philadelphia went on top 3-2 with a run in the 4th. Made it 4-2 here in the 5th with a 3-run homer by Matt Williams, with Will Clark and Robbie Thompson aboard. Has made it 5-4 San Francisco. 1 out, and Dave Martinez at the plate. He's bounced out and singled to left to drive in a run. Backdoor breaking ball in for a strike. They're looking for his 10th win of the year. His 9 wins, already a major league career best. Started last year in the Braves bullpen. Was traded to Philadelphia on May 28th. Out of play, 2 balls and 2 strikes on Martinez.
It's funny how long balls follow walks. Robbie Thompson walking, Will Clark walking, and then Matt Williams with the 3-run homer. What a walk does to a pitcher, especially leading off an inning. You have 2 on, nobody out. You have to come in the strike zone. And then you fall behind a guy like Williams, the 2-1 breaking ball, and he crushed it.
2-2 breaking ball got Martinez.
The point being that when you're wild out of the strike zone, you have a tendency to be wild in the strike zone because you're too conscious of keeping it outside. So now you have to come in there to a powerful hitter like Williams, and they don't miss those pitches too often.
Now Royce Clayton. Look at breaking ball inside. He has walked and flied to right. Slicing foul into the bullpen.
Remember talking to Dusty Baker last night, Sean, and Dusty was so proud of the fact that even though his Giants pitchers have given up a lot of home runs, most of them have been solo shots. Nothing happens before the bomb.
Breaking ball missed, blown away for Royce Clayton, who had all kinds of difficulty in the field at the start of the year. Dusty Baker thought it was a result of too much weightlifting in the offseason. He made 14 errors in his first 37 games. But over the last 55 games, he's only made 4 errors. Again, Rivera is behind in the count. 3 balls and a strike. Kurt Manwaring on deck. That's the 3rd walk in the inning thrown by Rivera. The field down to Kerwin Danley. He said no swing. Not only have the Giants been winning regularly, but they're doing it against good teams. Their record coming into today's action against National League teams with a record of above 500, 35-14. A winning percentage against the quote-unquote good teams of 7-1-4. No other team in the National League is even close to a 600 winning percentage against teams above the 500 mark.
After the All-Star break, an example of that, they split 4 games against the Mets. Then they sweep the Expos and are 1-1 in the first 2 games of the series against the Phillies and ahead in this one.
By a score of 5-4 with 2 outs and Clayton at first in the 5th. They pitch out on the first pitch to Manwaring. Clayton was not on the run. Manwaring has bounced into a double play and has rounded to 3rd. Royce Clayton has 6 stolen bases, but has been thrown out 9 times. Every time the opponents have tried to steal against Rivera this year, they've been successful. 7 for 7 are base runners against Ben Rivera this year.
And if Royce Clayton does steal a base, walking man-wearing wouldn't be automatic, because Dusty Baker has sent Paul Ferries out to the on-deck circle to pinch hit should Jim Fregosi think about doing that.
The center field, Dykstra started in. Now he's back to make the catch. The Giants take the lead in the 5th on the 3-run homer by Matt Williams. We'll return to Candlestick after this message and a word from your local station.
A NASCAR thriller on the fastest track in motor racing. Live from Talladega Superspeedway, the Die Hard 500, Sunday on CBS.
Coming this summer, get ready for a whole new late night on CBS.
Love songs. Nothing but love songs.
Starting August 30th, same Dave, better time, new station.
Order now and receive a handsome tote bag.
Late Show with David Letterman.
This is CBS.
Do you want to drive a real bargain? Well, take a look at leasing this 3-door Escort. $199 down, $199 a month, 24 months. And for the 4-door Escort, ditto. And when it comes to the 5-door Escort, ditto. And at the risk of repeating myself, for the Escort wagon, ditto. The Ford Escort ditto lease. $199 down, $199 a month, 24 months. But don't wait. This offer's good only through July, and only through your Northwest Ford dealer.
I'm feeling empty. I'm feeling blue. I know it's over, and I know it's through.
Man, now that's the blues.
Next time you want to Diet Pepsi, Ray, all you got to do is ask.
Now that's the right one, baby.
Beat the dealer. A huge new and used vehicle disposal sale this Friday through Sunday at Frank Chevrolet. Beat the dealer. Every new Chevy marked at prices based from actual dealer cost. The lowest prices guaranteed on any used car, truck, or van. Plus a Las Vegas vacation package with every purchase. Beat the dealer. This weekend, get a 5-day, 4-night vacation package to Las Vegas with your purchase of any new or used car, truck, or van. Beat the dealer. $49 down delivers any car this weekend during our huge vehicle disposal sale. See our insert in this weekend Yakima Herald. If you don't come see us today, we can't save you any money. Frank Chevrolet Gia, Wapano.
KIMA, 40 years of bringing it home for you.
Highlighting our CBS baseball coverage 1 week from today is an important battle in the American League East between the Tigers and Blue Jays at Toronto. Some of you will see Atlanta at Houston next Saturday at 1 Eastern time here on CBS. Gino Minutelli is the new pitcher for San Francisco after 5 innings from Dave Burbo, who's in line to win his 6th consecutive decision if the bullpen can protect the lead. 1 strike to Lenny Dykstra.
Minutelli came up on the 15th of April when Bud Black was put on the disabled list the first time this year.
Nice play by Clark. He was able to snare the well-hit ground ball with the backhand and then reach over to the bag to tag it to retire Dykstra, who's now 2 for 4.
What made it particularly difficult was that Clark was playing Dykstra in anticipating the bunt. And Lenny tries to hook it by Clark, and Will diving for the ball, making the catch, and figuring, well, since I'm here, I might as well tag the bag with my glove. Nice play by Will Clark.
No need to get up.
No.
Mariano Duncan having a nice day. 3 for 3 with 2 singles and his 7th home run of the year. He's driven in 2 and scored 1. Dave Burba, the starter, went 5 innings. He allowed 4 runs, all earned, on 9 hits. Walked 4 and struck out 5. Threw a wild pitch and surrendered 2 home runs. And he's in line for the win. One of the things that makes that Oakland pitching staff by committee situation unpleasant for those who get the assignment of starting the game is it's very difficult to get the win in that format. You're only allowed 50 pitches. You need to go 5 innings as a start to win. That would be 5 very tidy innings to squeeze it into 50 pitches.
First manager I ever heard talk about that was Chuck Tanner about a decade ago. And he brought that same thing up. He said that incentive clauses in the new contracts, agents may prevent a manager from employing a pitching staff like that with the 3, 3, and 3 and going on the 50 pitches.
Duncan bidding for his 4th hit of the day, won't get it this time. Martinez the catch, 2 down. We're in the 6th. The Giants lead 5-4. 2 outs and the bases empty for Philadelphia. Ricky Jordan to bat next. He's 0 for 3. And that's popped up in shallow left. Bonds. 1, 2, 3. Go the Phils against Mignatelli after 5.5, 5-4 San Francisco.
You're looking at tinea pedis, commonly known as athlete's foot.
You're unbelievable. You're so unbelievable. You're unbelievable. You're unbelievable.
A message from Major League Baseball.
Welcome back to San Francisco, where the homestanding Giants lead 5-4 as we go to the bottom of the 6th. A couple of changes for the Philadelphia Phillies. John Kruk has come into the ballgame as the first baseman. He's batting 9th in Ben Rivera's spot. Double switch for Jim Fregosi as Roger Mason is the new pitcher.
Roger starting the season with San Diego. He was 0-7 for the Padres. He's 1-0 for the Phillies, his 10th appearance of the year.
And he's greeted by Gino Mignatelli, the pitcher. 0 for 1 this season. Dykstra battling the sun. Makes the catch. Ben Rivera, the starter, went 5 innings. Allowed 5 runs, all earned on 5 hits. He walked 5, one of those intentional. Struck out 3. Threw a wild pitch, hit a batter, gave up the big 3-run homer to Williams, and threw 99 pitches in 5 innings. Mason working now to the top of the order, and Darren Lewis. Cubs and Dodgers leading their ball games in the middle innings. Boston made it 9 straight wins today behind Aaron Seeley. Impressive rookie's gone to 4-0. Kansas City beat Detroit. 6 straight losses for Detroit now. The Yankees won again over California. And Baltimore leads Minnesota 3-1. Brady Anderson a home run in that game. Tough play. Duncan, the Kruk, nice play. For the second out of the inning. Duncan had to throw it with some velocity to get Lewis, and it could have handcuffed Kruk very easily, but did not.
Yeah, that's the artistic way to make that play, is to throw it hard enough to get the runner, but not hard enough to handcuff the first baseman. But first, you have to catch it, and that's what Duncan does. He bare hands the ball and gives an accurate throw to John Kruk. Fine play by Mariano Duncan.
So quickly 2 down here in the 6th for Robbie Thompson, who was singled, struck out, and walked and scored. He walked leading off last inning and scored on the 3-run homer by Williams. Mason misses low. Apparently Roger Mason was not a part of the fire sale of talent by San Diego that Jim Gray mentioned. He was not one of the high salaried players moved aside by the Padres. I thought that was an excellent piece. And I appreciated your reaction to it. My reaction would be, you don't have the money to operate a major league team the way it should be run, then sell the team and get out of it and let somebody who does have the capability make it a competitive franchise.
Yeah, to extend on that, why buy it to begin with? I mean, if you are surprised after the second or third year of operation with a big league baseball team with the salaries soaring like they have, why buy the thing to begin with?
That's right. He knew going in what his local TV and radio revenue would be, roughly what the ticket revenue was, what his income would be from the national TV and radio contracts. If he doesn't have the funds, sell it to somebody who does. And you were right on the money as well in what you said about Bud Selig. For him to be the commissioner in a very similar situation as the owner of the Milwaukee Brewers, a small market team, and have to deal with the consequences of what Mr. Werner is doing in San Diego is obviously a conflict. Feel sorry for the folks in San Diego. Their team
you have to.
Was right there, it looked, on the verge of becoming a contending ball club again. And they won't be, certainly for a while now, with the direction that they have taken. Thompson down to third to Hollins, who throws him out. 1, 2, 3 go the Giants against Mason. After 6, a 1-run lead for San Francisco.
Major League Baseball. Today's game is brought to you by Toyota. I love what you do for me. Subway, the place where fresh is the taste. And by Smooth Bush Beer, an easy drinking Bush Light.
Sean McDonough with Tim McCarver and Pat O'Brien at Candlestick Park in San Francisco. The Giants lead 5-4 as we go to the 7th. Gino Mignatelli beginning his second inning relief. He worked the first 1, 2, 3 inning by a Giants pitcher today, last inning, and missed with ball 1 to Dave Hollins to open the 7th. Hollins has walked twice, singled and scored. All of that action against the starter Burba. On the outside corner, 1-1 on Hollins. Then Dalton and Thompson, the middle third of the order for the Phillies in the 7th. Good fastball. Got it by Hollins. 1 and 2. Mignatelli's 29 years old. And he strikes out Hollins. That'll bring up Darren Dalton, who's been with the Phillies since 1983, but is in his first pennant race. Tim asked him about it.
This is what it's all about. You know, I haven't been in this position before, and the thing that I try to stay on top of is the fact that we are in a race. This is a great opportunity, and I think we need to take full advantage of it. So I'm trying to do everything I can, you know, here and there to make sure that everybody stays focused on where we're at and what we're trying to accomplish. And we're never going to be in a better position than what we are now to take this thing down the stretch.
And doing everything it takes includes occasionally giving his teammates a little bit of a kick in the seat of the pants.
That's right.
He's the real leader on that club.
He really is, doing everything he needs to do, sometimes taking a shortstop out on a double play attempt, and that's how Darren got that scar under his right eye, breaking up a double play attempt about 5 weeks ago. Lingering remnants of that play under his right eye. Talked about Dusty Baker earlier and talking about his team. It even goes over into his coaches about how tough they are. It's a tough Philly group, too.
And you tell he walks Dalton. Aaron walks for the second time today. And that's nothing new. The Phillies have the top 3 men in the National League drawing bases on balls: Kruk, Dykstra, and Dalton. And as you see, the last team to have 3 players at the top of the list in the league in walks, the National League, the 86, that's 1886, Chicago White Stockings. Do you know who they were? the three players?
No, I don't.
You played at least against a couple of these guys. Come on. George Gore, King Kelly, and Ned Williamson.
King Kelly I've heard of.
Milt Thompson. Big swing and a miss at the Minutelli fastball. 1-1. Milt has homered and doubled and driven in 2 runs today. Jeff Brantley is the right-hander. Kevin Rogers, the left-hander. In the Giants bullpen, as San Francisco protects a 1-run lead in the 7th. Phillies with a tying run aboard, the go-ahead run at the plate with 1 out. Count of 1-2 on Thompson.
Little unusual here that the Phillies are not sending up Pete Incaviglia to pinch hit for Milt Thompson. Thompson not that proficient against left-handers. Possibly Jim Fregosi saving Pete to hit for the pitcher.
Tantalizing off-speed pitch, and Thompson is called out on strikes. Second strikeout in the inning for Gino Minutelli.
First, Thompson does have 2 hits on the afternoon, a double and a home run, but he freezes on a Minutelli curveball.
We might have anticipated that Dusty Baker would counter with Jeff Brantley, who pitched Incaviglia. Perhaps wanted Thompson against Minutelli instead of that matchup. Here comes Brantley now with Wes Chamberlain, the right-handed hitter, scheduled up. 5-4 San Francisco. Back in just a moment.
Leading the National League in earned run average, the Atlanta Braves, of course you might say at this point in time. But the San Francisco Giants are second in the league in earned run average. Very deceptively effective pitching staff here in San Francisco.
And an important part of that staff is Jeff Brantley, the 3rd pitcher of the ball game for the Giants, with a record of 4-5. He has divided his time this year between the bullpen and the starting rotation. Made 12 starts out of his 27 prior appearances. Facing Wes Chamberlain, Jim Fregosi does have left-handed bat on the bench, and Jim Eisenreich. Chamberlain will bat against the right-handed Brantley, and he's 0 for 3 today.
So what we've seen in this inning, Minutelli pitching to the left-handed batter Milt Thompson, and now the right-hander pitching to Wes Chamberlain.
To deep short, Clayton goes the short way to Thompson to force Dalton in the inning. The Phillies have left 9 men on at the 7th inning stretch at sold-out Candlestick. The Giants lead by 1. Weekly ritual for us here at CBS Sports. Tim McCarver waving to his adoring public down below during the 7th inning stretch.
Both of them.
That's right. Seriously, you never know what a good endorsement opportunity might come out of this. Will Clark, just in the nick of time, drove in a run with a fielder's choice in the 1st, was hit by a pitch and scored in the 3rd, walked and scored in the Williams homer in the 5th. That 3-run homer by Matt Williams gave San Francisco a 5-4 lead in the 5th inning. It's still 5-4 as the Giants bat in the 7th. Roger Mason produced a foul ball with a half swing from Clark. Mason came on last inning and got the Giants 1-2-3. Center and room for Dykstra just in front of the track. 1 out. That brings up Matt Williams. We asked him about the sign language between he and the first base coach Bobby Bonds.
He's got signs for everybody. You know, maybe sometimes you're jumping at the ball a little bit. Maybe sometimes you're not using your hands. You're swinging with your body. It can be a number of things. If he sees something that is not typical of you, well, then it's good to have him out there because he can tell you during an at-bat. You don't have to waste that at-bat and do something wrong and then wait for your next at-bat to get it right. It can happen right there.
Bobby Bonds at first base. For that reason, it's particularly convenient for right-handed batters. All they have to do is look down there.
And with Bobby Bonds in the dugout, you'd need excellent vision to find him with as far back from the playing field as the dugouts here at Candlestick.
Left-handed batters less inclined to do that. A little more awkward for them, but a right-hander, all you have to do is peek down there, and Williams again reminding himself to keep that shoulder in there with that cheek going to the left shoulder.
Couldn't that be counterproductive, though, Tim, from the standpoint, and I would make it analogous to golf? If you're a golfer and you're up there on the tee thinking, I have to hold my grip this way or have my stance this way or bring the club back in such a direction, a lot of times you have all those thoughts running through your mind. You wind up hitting a ground ball. Wouldn't it be the same in pitching or in hitting if you're thinking about one particular mechanical thing or a couple?
Yeah, that working on mechanics are really for practice, and there's Bonds right there trying to get his attention. Mechanics are for practice, and when you play the game, I know your point. When you play the game, you let the natural ability take over, or what you've learned in working take over, and try to remember that. But you know what it is? It's whatever works, and evidently this has worked for the Giants.
Williams has had an excellent year, and it's not just because of the presence of Barry Bonds in the lineup, but he gives his relationship with Bobby Bonds a lot of the credit.
Now, I think if some hitters are annoyed at those shenanigans going on down at first base, then you just go to Bobby and say, Bobby, I'd like to work on that when we're away from the field, or work on it in practice, but not during the game. It certainly works for Williams, right?
Matt strikes out. He's 1 for 4, but the one hit, the biggest hit of the ball game, the 3-run homer in the 5th inning. The first strikeout for Roger Mason, who's retired all 5 men he has faced.
Like Williams was looking away, and he got the fastball that tied him up a bit. Good fastball from Roger Mason.
Now Barry Bonds is 0 for 2 with an intentional walk his first time up. 5-4 San Francisco. 2 outs, bases empty in the home half of the 7th. And 1 strike on Bonds. Mason just missed. 1 ball, 1 strike. Apparently on his way to his 3rd National League MVP award in the last 4 years. No man has ever won 4 MVP awards in Major League history. Barry says he wants to be the first to do it. Keeps going as he is. He might do much better than just the 4.
Roy Campanella won it in 3 years with the Brooklyn Dodgers, or won it in 5 years, I beg your pardon, 3 MVPs. So did Yogi Berra with the Yankees, 3 MVPs in 5 years.
Those are the 3-time National League MVPs, Campanella, Musial, and Schmidt. Bonds with a chance to join their ranks this year. He said no man in either league has ever won it 4 times. The 2-2. Base hit, right field. And a 2-out base runner for the Giants in the 7th. That's just the 6th San Francisco hit of the ball game.
You may have a chance to see another element of Barry Bonds' game, and that's his speed. He is an outstanding base runner. We've talked about his defense. Several Gold Gloves to his credit. Excellent throwing arm, power. He hits for average. He has 15 stolen bases. He's been caught 6 times. A good time to run here with 2 outs. A 1-run ball game.
Dave Martinez, the batter. He took a fastball high for ball 1. Martinez 1 for 3, an RBI single to left in the 3rd. Giants hope that Willie McGee will be back around August 1st. Just about a week. Mr. Baker says McGee a very important part of their speed game, and he's also a very important player defensively out there in right field. Bonds does run. Dalton's throw a good one, and Barry's out. Tagged out by the shortstop Batiste to end the inning. after 7 at Candlestick Park. The Giants lead 5-4.
He tags the ground, but not his leg. By the time the left leg slides into Batiste's glove, the right foot's on the bag. So Bonds was safe, but the Phillies got the call.
And they bat in the 8th, trailing by a run. The number 8 hitter, Kim Batiste. 0 for 2 with an intentional walk. John Kruk to follow, and then Lenny Dykstra against Jeff Brantley, who faced one man last inning, retired him to end the inning. Good heat from Brantley. 0-2 on Batiste. Jeff's 29 years old, from Florence, Alabama. He was a teammate of Will Clark at Mississippi State, an All-American at Mississippi State in 1985, trying to protect a 1-run San Francisco lead.
We've seen Gino Minutelli pitching to the left-hander Milt Thompson, and then Jeff Brantley pitching to Wes Chamberlain, a right-handed batter, and now Kim Batiste. I think what is threatening Fregosi right now, Jim Fregosi, is taking his mulligans into the clubhouse. You got a lot of pinch hitters that have been wasted over the last inning.
Big blow in this ball game, the 3-run homer by Matt Williams of San Francisco in the 5th. It turned a 4-2 Giants deficit into a 5-4 lead, which they continue to enjoy. Came off Ben Rivera, who had walked the first 2 batters of the 5th inning while pitching with a 4-2 lead. John Kruk up for the first time today. One strike on Kruk at .343. 5th in the league in hitting starting today. When leading after 7 innings this year, the Giants are 57-2. That's how effective Jackson and Beck have been. Ordinarily, it'd be Jackson out there for the 8th inning in a 1-run game. But as we mentioned earlier, he has gone on the disabled list with a right knee injury. The full extent of that injury not really known. But he is on the 15-day DL as a result of a collision with Will Clark at first base last night. Good news is there was no fracture, but considerable swelling from Mike Jackson.
Yeah, Dusty Baker has such not only a good bullpen, but such a flexible bullpen. Good left-handers, good right-handers.
Wow, looked like a good pitch. A called ball 4, and Kruk, the tying run, is aboard with 1 out. The Cubs lead Houston 7-2. It's been a back-and-forth game at Dodger Stadium. Eric Karros has driven in 3 runs. Boston has won 9 in a row. They had 3 home runs in that game from Cooper, Riles, and Rivera. Kansas City got 2 home runs from George Brett in its victory. Yankees got 4 runs batted in, including a 3-run homer from Danny Tartabull in their win over California. Baltimore leads Minnesota 5-1 to the top of the 9th. Jeffrey Hammond, the impressive rookie, with a 2-run single in that ball game. In the American League East, Boston and New York have already won. Baltimore appears to be on the verge of victory, and Detroit has lost. Toronto plays tonight. Dykstra, the fly ball to straightaway center. Lewis the catch. 2 down. Dykstra now 2 for 5. Tying run at first. Go ahead run at the plate with 2 outs in the 8th for Philadelphia. They trail 5-4. Mariano Duncan hits in each of his first 3 at bats and flied to right his last time up. Facing Brantley for the first time this afternoon. one would think that they're looking for somebody to fill the role of Mike Jackson, that almost daily setup man to get to Rod Beck. Brantley is as good a candidate as anybody. Well hit, but right at Thompson. He flips to Clayton to force Kruk and end the inning. Phillies have stranded 10. We go to the bottom of the 8th. The Giants 5, the Phillies 4.
Alive in a flooded Missouri cave, but the 6 other people with him are dead. On tonight's Evening News.
We hope you'll be with us next Saturday at 1 Eastern time here on CBS for a couple of important ball games with division race implications. In the American League East, the Tigers and Blue Jays go head-to-head at Sky Dome. Tim and I will be at the Astrodome for the Braves and the Houston Astros, 2 teams in pursuit of the Giants, who have a 9-game lead in the National League West at the moment over Atlanta. Houston 13 games back starting today's action. The Astros have won 3 in a row. Here it's 5-4 San Francisco. They're looking for a pad run or 2 as they bat in the 8th. Against Roger Mason, Dave Martinez, the leadoff hitter, up there with a count of 2-0. Royce Clayton to follow, and then Kurt Manwaring. Mason has pitched 2 innings of scoreless relief. He's allowed 1 hit. Chop foul back of the plate. Out in the Giants bullpen, Rod Beck, their ace closer, is warming up. Should he appear in this one, it would be the 4th straight game in which he has appeared. In the top of the 9th, pitcher Mason due to lead off. Then Dave Hollins and Darren Dalton. Undoubtedly will be a pitcher for Roger Mason. A pinch hitter, rather, for the pitcher.
Yeah, if you're trailing in a ball game and your middle reliever goes 3 innings, that's good for him, bad for the team.
Pretty well hit to center, but room for Dykstra. 1 out.
What that means is your middle reliever has done well, but his spot in the batting order hasn't come up for you to pinch hit for him.
Royce Clayton has walked twice and flied to right. First ball swinging and a pop-up. Batiste called Hollins off it and made the play. Two away. 51,557. The crowd here at Candlestick this afternoon. 51,557.
It's the 8th time this year that the Giants have drawn 50,000 plus.
Kurt Manwaring is 0 for 3. His average has dipped 4 points. Mason has faced the minimum 8 men through 2 2/3 innings. Been just 1 base runner since Roger took the mound. That was Bonds, but he was erased on the caught stealing. Breaking ball just missed. A little pop-up in shallow left for Milt Thompson. And the Giants go in order in the 8th. 3 excellent innings from Roger Mason, but will it be in vain? We'll find out as the Phillies bat in the 9th right after this.
Rod Beck will try to earn his 28th save of the season. He is presently tied with Brian Harvey of the Florida Marlins with 27. Lee Smith leads the National League in saves with 34, followed by Randy Myers of the Cubs. Rod Beck was in there last night when the unearned run was scored against the Giants in the top of the 14th inning.
Jim Eisenreich, the pinch hitter, batting for the pitcher Mason. First pitch from Beck, a strike. Eisenreich hit his 3rd home run of the year last night off the starter Greg Brummett. The only run the Phillies had till they won it with the run in the 14th. Well hit to center. Lewis is there to make the catch a couple of steps in front of the track. Tonight on CBS begins with Dr. Quinn, Medicine Woman. That's followed by the CBS Saturday movie, The President's Child. It all starts at 8 p.m. Eastern right here on CBS. It's only the 2nd time this year that Rod Beck has pitched in 4 straight games on 4 consecutive days. Dave Hollins, the hitter. He did it back on April 25th, 6th, 7th, and 8th. And on the 28th and the 4th of those consecutive appearances, Beck blew a save opportunity. The Giants rebounded to win that game. It was the last time Beck blew a save chance. He's 20 for 20 since. He's only squandered 2 opportunities all year, and that's why he was a member of the National League All-Star team.
That is the typical glare of a short reliever right there. You asked me earlier in the game, Sean, how many times I changed my hat during a season. Looks like Rod Beck could use a change of hats.
Maybe that's part of the glare and
glare and the hat.
The whole effect there. Mustache and hair flying around. He's 24 years old. Split finger pitch missed low. They peel down to 3rd, no swings, says Ron Barnes. 2-2 on Hollins. Darren Dalton the follow. 9th inning. Giants lead 5-4. Phillies batting with 1 out and the bases empty. Foul ball.
That split finger fastball is the pitch that separates Rod Beck with pretty good stuff. Good fastball, good breaking ball. But it's that splitter that has made him into one of the better relievers in the National League.
Off the glove of Beck. And Hollins is safe at first. Didn't matter either way, because if Beck didn't get a piece of it, that ball was hit well enough to get through into center field. Hollins has a hit, his 2nd, and the Phillies have the tying run on with 1 out in the 9th.
That's a fine at bat by Dave Hollins, fouling off a couple of tough splitters. Now rifles one back through the middle. And the Phillies with their potential go-ahead run at the plate. Darren Dalton, who walked against Beck in the 14th inning of last night's game.
And has walked twice today. Darren has walked at least once now in 7 straight games. He's 0 for 2 today. Struck out and popped to 3rd. Big hack. And he sliced one back to the screen.
I believe the Major League record for consecutive walks in games held by Darrell Evans, 15 or 16, and I believe when it was when he was a member of the San Francisco Giants.
Dalton is also trying to extend his modest hitting streak to 5 games. He's in the hole, 0-2.
Fastball away.
And Dalton fought it off. Should this score stand, the Giants would have a 9.5 game lead over the Braves. The Braves just underway in the top of the 1st at Pittsburgh, no score. Chopped foul. Meanwhile, the Phillies' nearest pursuer, St. Louis, should this score stand, would have a chance to gain a game and move within 4. And the Cardinals are at Colorado a bit later on. saw Fregosi and Baker, and these two teams managed by two guys who are pretty good players when they were in action themselves. Dalton strikes out for the second out of the Philadelphia ninth. First strikeout of this outing for Rod Beck. First pitch to Milt Thompson. Split finger low for ball one. Giants lead 5-4. 2 outs. Hollins at first. They're holding him on. With 2 outs of the ninth and a count of 2-0 now on Thompson. Should he reach, Wes Chamberlain is scheduled to bat next.
Giant outfield abnormally deep to protect against the extra base hit.
On the outside slice.
Normally you would play Milt Thompson, regardless of the game that he's had today with the home run and the double, but you would play him more shallow, but not with 2 out and a runner at first in the 9th inning.
Little looper to right. That might have been caught had they been playing it at normal depth, and with Martinez so deep it falls in front of him, and Hollins takes third. So now the tying run is 90 feet away. The go-ahead run at first with 2 outs in the ninth, and a big at-bat upcoming for Wes Chamberlain after the single by Thompson, his 3rd hit of the day.
Now what you're making the offense do is to get 2 hits instead of 1. That's why you play your outfield deeper than normal. Sometimes it can backfire against you. It's like a football defense that use the prevent defense.
Wes Chamberlain fouled the first pitch out of play. Beck protecting a 1-run lead, but the Phillies threaten. They've had all kinds of chances today, but haven't scored since the 5th. Philadelphia has already left 10 men on to the first 8 innings. Hollins, the runner at third. Thompson at first. 2 singles in the inning for Philadelphia. Popped up and out of play. 0-2 on Chamberlain. Now the fans here at the sticker on their feet. The 0-2 pitch. Popped up, out of play.
One thing I've noticed about Rod Beck and his forkball, he doesn't throw a lot of splitters in the dirt. That's the shortcoming of that pitch. To be effective, it has to be down, but Beck is unusual in that respect. He doesn't throw a lot of balls in the dirt when he throws the splitter. Puts a lot of pressure on the catcher, however, with the tying run on at third base.
Another 0-2 pitch. Chamberlain fought it off. Appeared to be outside. He got the bat on it and lined it into the seats in right. Just did get a piece of that one. Appeared fooled by the pitch, did Chamberlain, but let the check swing. He fouled it out of play. San Francisco. 2 outs and runners at the corners in the Philadelphia 9. Beck trying to put away Wes Chamberlain. Another 0-2 pitch. He struck him out. And the 2 out of the first 3 games this weekend from Philadelphia. Final score 5-4. More in a moment. The Chevrolet player of today's game is Matt Williams of the San Francisco Giants. His 3-run homer in the 5th inning made it 5-4 San Francisco, and that's the way it stayed. Chevrolet will donate $1,000 in his name to the Special Olympics.
CBS Sports presents Major League Baseball. Today's game is brought to you by Toyota and their full line of quality cars and trucks. Toyota, I love what you do for me. Thompson's Water Seal Waterproofing Formula, the brand to trust for all your waterproofing needs. And by Reebok, who reminds you that life is short. Play hard.
Now for Tim McCarver and Pat O'Brien. Sean McDonough saying so long from Candlestick Park. The final score, San Francisco 5, Philadelphia 4. You've been watching Major League Baseball on CBS Sports, home of the biggest games in baseball. Ron Beck with 21 consecutive saves and as many chances. The Giants win over Philadelphia. Goodbye.
United. The airline is uniting the world with thousands of flights to cities on 5 continents. Proudly unveils a plane no bigger than your hand. It comes with McDonald's Friendly Skies meals for kids. Because when you're big, you should always remember the little. United. Come fly the Friendly Skies.